What we did? I am not Ian Lee.
Oh, no.
Where is he now?
Las Vegas.
Oh, that's very exotique. What's he doing there?
I think he's doing more filming.
Ah, he's taking a leaf out of Paul's book, and he's gone to chase the Yankee dollar.
Oh, is Paul over there as well?
You know that Paul hasn't been here?
I knew he wasn't here, but
right, okay.
you know what this place is like. You don't know anything.
No, I don't. Yes, Paul is over there shooting a TV programme about ghosts and ghoulies, that haunted house thing, whatever it's called, that he does over here. American TV is interested. And if American TV is interested, you drop everything and rush straight to the nearest plane. Because they have all of the money in the world.
And apparently they have ghosts as well.
Ghosts and ghoulies, yes. So we may never see either of them again. What's he doing in Las Vegas?
I think it's like that Posh and Becks thing again.
Oh.
That he did.
Again?
Yeah, the sequel.
She's on the front page of the Mirror today. The Mirror is it's one of the papers that I read if I've gone through everything else and I can't find anything to talk about, because it seems like, I don't know, compared to the Sun. I mean, this is not a comparison of their, their mindsets or the politics of the two papers. Just the way it looks and the way it reads. It seems like something put together by students. Is that offensive?
Well,
yes.
I'm a big fan of the Mirror.
Are you? What do you like about it?
Well,
it's like a Sun also ran, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like put together by journalists who couldn't get a job on the Sun, which is probably accurate. No. Why are you looking so horrified?
Well, I think that's a bit unfair. I think, the Mirrors are just, a little bit more classier than the Sun.
No, I completely disagree.
Really?
Totally and utterly, yes. It's classy, no. It might be less right-wing. In fact, it might wear its politics more on its sleeve. But classy is definitely not...
Is that classy?
No.
Page 3 of the Sun here?
Well, no, page 3 of the Sun is not classy, no, but it's one of those... It's become a national institution. It's like the Queen Mother herself. You can't get rid of her, nor say anything bad about it, because even if people don't read the Sun, they'll be up in arms. They're attacking Britain, they'll say. That's unpatriotic.
You can't compare the Queen Mother to Keeley 20 from Bromley.
No, of course not.
I wouldn't want to see Queen Mother naked.
Oh.
Well, she's dead. That's a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, Alex.
I get hung for that. So
yes.
Yes, you still...
Straight to the tower. I'll just slam myself in, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
You want to lie in front of that giant pile of car that you've got outside and let off the handbrake. Like that guy from East 17. No, but the page 3, whenever anybody says, usually it'll be a female member of the backbenchers, she'll say it's an outrage that in this day and age, I mean, we're not living in the 70s, she'll say, that page 3 still exists. And you know what? It is a bit of an anachronism. It's kind of silly, really. I mean, it's supposed to be a newspaper, but it's actually stuffed with pornography. While at the same time, there'll be stories in the paper telling us how disgusting they think pornography is.
Oh, yeah.
A dichotomy. But you can't get rid of it because it's like fish and chips. It's like Kiss Me Quick hats. It's like having your stag night in Blackpool. It's just part of the national fabric. It's something that we can't do without. Forever and a day there will be a page 3 girl, because when the page 3 girl goes, you might as well lower the flag on Great Britain. Is that...
The last one out, switch off the lights.
Yes, exactly right.
That's something to be proud of, isn't it?
But the thing is, women obviously obviously want to take part in the page 3 pics,
Yes, they do,
They're queuing up to
absolutely
be the page 3 girl, aren't they?
Well, it's a career choice, much as going into the Big Brother house is a career choice for apparently every teenage girl in the country. And you ask them what they're, and this is not only true of teenage girls, but teenage boys as well. You ask them what they want to be, and the answer is invariably, I want to be famous, which is why they all queue like mad to get into the Big Brother house, because it's either have sex with a Premiership footballer, or become famous for getting your boobs out. Either way, no work required, and somebody backs a lorry full of cash up to your house.
Yeah, but I think, fair enough, this day and age, you can make famous a career.
Yes, but it's an outrage. People, and of course, the elder generation will start waving their sticks in the air and saying, it were grand when I were a lad. You used to be famous for actually achieving something. You can remember achieving something, can't you?
No.
No, not really. People now are just famous for being famous. People used to be famous for writing theses and philosophizing, for constructing bridges and flying faster than anybody has previously flown. Nowadays, they're famous for getting drunk and falling in the gutter, where their boobs have become unhitched from their stays.
You know, it's a lot harder than it looks, you know.
But it's all done in the best possible taste.
Of course. But, you know, the Page 3 girls, do they do it just once, or do they reuse them?
I've got absolutely no idea. Much as the four, the four girls who went into the Big Brother house, who formed I haven't seen it since I saw them going in. I was just curious, you know. But the four who I presume have formed a little blonde, giggly coven, to exclude all the fat and ugly ones. You know, the four that look exactly the same. There's two twins, and then two that also look like they could all be from the same egg.
They're going to be our future Page 3 girls.
Absolutely, yes. They will be millionaires before the year is out. The twins. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Jade Goody's days in the nation's heart are numbered. She is on the way out. Because why have a woman who basically looks like... Well, shall I be unkind?
She's probably not listening.
She looks a bit piggish. She's not the best-looking woman in the world. I mean, she looks... since she's had money, and there's no doubt about it, money will make you look more attractive. If only somebody would back money up into this studio right now, the three of us could really do with a makeover, eh?
Yeah, totally.
I don't think there's a big enough lorry.
But as soon as those twins come out of the house, Jade Goody's career is over. Because why get some dumb blonde with big boobs who doesn't look very nice when you can get a couple of dumb blondes with big boobs who look great and are much younger and perkier and less inclined to punch you in the mouth if you look at her wrong in a club?
Yeah.
But have they got the personality that... I mean, I know Jade... You could argue hasn't got a personality.
Well, she does. She does. She's full to the brim of personality, pouring out of every pore it is.
But she's not the brightest girl ever.
You're not very on mic for a man who's here to control all the levels.
Yeah, God,
you're doing yourself a disservice.
I don't like having it in my face. That's why.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I've lost my point now.
You were thinking about having it in your face. Yeah, we were talking about the Page 3 girls, and the phrase that came to mind was, I don't like having it in my face.
I was going to say, do these two girls have the personality to kind of... That's what's kept Jade going, isn't it, really, in the public eye, is she comes out with this stupid stuff all the time.
Much in the same way that Prince Philip does, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, she's not just filling the paper because she looks like how she looks. It's because she says... stupid things all the time.
Well, she perfectly reflects everybody that's standing behind you in the bus queue. They're all like that. Yeah, that's just the general population, that is. But no, if they can be perky and bubbly and cute and lovely, and there's two of them, and oh my God, I can't believe I'm so excited, the country is thinking, then we won't need Jade Goody anymore.
You know that there's some TV exec out there who's thinking up a new TV show that
not just the one.
Involves twins.
TV executives are at this moment at each other's throats. They'll be knifing each other in the throat to get hold of those two. I'm not kidding. Whoever... I assume that Channel 4 has signed them up to exclusive contracts, much in the same way as the X Factor signs all of the wannabes up to exclusive contracts. So if they do become successful, which, let's face it, is completely down to the television programme, then the company behind the TV show will get all of the money. So I would assume, unless they are really missing a trick here, that Channel 4 has signed them all up so that any future earnings... will come back to Channel 4. Don't you think that would make sense? Or they have to speak to Channel 4 in order to make a contract with one of them. TV producers are, at this moment, queuing outside the Channel 4 building. They've all got tents. It's closed for the weekend, and they're all camping out there, and they'll be first in the line on Monday morning to sign those two up.
I thought they were just fans.
They will be everywhere as soon as they come out, I'm telling you.
They could be like the cheeky girls.
Yeah, exactly. The cheeky girls that we can understand.
Brilliant.
This is... have we sorted anything out yet? It's a no, isn't it? This is LBC. Here's Travel News with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick.
The first one. I don't want to talk about this all night because people will start, oh, why are you talking about Big Brother? But I found that it was, initially I thought, what is going on here? But then I thought, you know what? These are actual evil geniuses who are working on this programme. And if, tonight, they do what I expect them to do, then it could be the most explosive TV we've ever seen. Here's what they should do.
Okay.
They'll put one man in. You see, it's a house full of women. And you could see the faces drop of the women who got in there first as they realised, as they started counting up how many were going in, and they thought, oh my God, they're all women. So they put 4 girls in who look exactly the same. So those 4 will squeeze each other so hard they'll become one person. They'll be talking to each other, and they won't know whether they're looking in the mirror or talking to their twin, or they won't know what's going on. But they will gel. Of course, because the birds of a feather flock together. The ones outside that tight little coven will just be satellites. And if you notice, they're either old or fat or weird or a combination of all 3. Now, what this means is that Channel 4 have given us the potential for abuse and bullying, but abuse and bullying in a respect that is still socially acceptable. You can't attack people because of the colour of their skin, or who they really, really fancy, or any of these other hot PC issues. But you can still take the opportunity while it's still available, because it's shortly to be closed in your face. You can still bully people for being ugly and fat. In fact, it seems that the more you read newspapers, it's almost encouraged. Because, did you see the picture of Tony Curtis? Tony Curtis, a great heartthrob from the 50s, 60s, I suppose into the 70s. And they had pictures. The mirror was kinder than the sun. It's basically pointing the finger at a man who's 81 years old. And, as they do to almost every star who has the misfortune not to die before they get old, pointing at them and laughing at them for looking old. He's 81. And they're basically saying, what a farrago your life has become. You look like an old man, they're saying. And they'll do the same if a woman is seen with a bit of cellulite. They'll have a close-up of the little patch of the back of her thigh, and basically magnifying every defect. And because you can't magnify any of those PC defects, they'll magnify fat and ugly.
But they having a go at him, though, because because he's obviously got money, and he could, if he wanted to, have, like, plastic surgery to make him look better, but maybe he's choosing not to.
Well, Tony Curtis is 81 years old. I mean, there's only so much that plastic surgery can do, although Joan Rivers would disagree. But he looks pretty good for an 81-year-old. I mean, if you just put your hand over the top of his head and imagine that he had hair, then I wouldn't mind cheekbones like that. In fact, I wouldn't mind them right now, let alone when I'm 81. So it's become a national sport to criticise people for getting old, being fat, and being ugly, because those are really the only things that we have left.
So get your digs in while you can.
Well, this is what they've done. They've put a coven of 4 girls who all look identical, like page 3 stunners they are, and so they will coalesce into a bitchy, scratching, snarling, spitting animal that throws venom at all of the satellite characters who are older, uglier and fatter. So there will be bullying, and people will get picked on, which is, of course, the reason why people watch this show. Nobody wants to watch a show like Big Brother to see everybody get along, much as nobody wants to go to a motor race to see everybody arrive back at the pit safely. It's true, isn't it?
It is true.
So we watch this programme for the fights.
It's kind of like they've got a mother and daughter relationship set up at the moment.
Is that how it's going?
Well, that's what it looks like at the moment, but that's going to break down at some point.
So what they should do this evening, Davina, I like Davina.
She's good.
She's like, she's a yummy mummy. I just warm to Davina. I mean, I know that it's just a presenting job, and more or less anybody can be a TV presenter. You just have to look nice and read off the auto cue. But she does it so very well, I think. And it looks as though she's not really doing anything at all. I think that she's actually Well, I see, a talent is not quite the right word, because just standing there and looking nice isn't really a talent, but it's an ability. She has great television ability. I like her.
Oh.
It's likability. That's why Ant and Dec are the highest paid TV performers in the land, because not because they're particularly funny, or because they're great wits.
Because they're normal?
Well, yes, they're normal, but they're likeable. That's the key.
Oh. How'd you be likeable, though?
Me? Why are you asking me? I've got no idea. Have we met? I'll tell you what, the thing about the Mirror that really... the amount of times I see it, it never looks right. And no other paper does this. If they've got a picture of somebody, they have a habit of cutting out around their face, so that... normally, if you have a close-up of somebody, it will be a shoulders and above. So it will look as though their head is attached to something. But the Mirror seems to have this habit of cutting just around their face, so that it looks like their head is some sort of floating apparition, just the sort of thing that Paul Ross has gone to Philadelphia to see if he can't spot. It looks like a newspaper full of ghosts, like some sort of...
Is that the biggest gripe you can find with
No,
the
it's not
Mirror?
a gripe. I'm just saying that it's...
It's the floating heads.
I know you're taking this very personally, but it just never looks right, and no other newspaper does it. So they've obviously made a conscious decision that when we've got a close-up of somebody, we're just going to cut around their face, but it just looks... You know those masks that you can get of somebody else's face, and you cut holes in their eyes?
Yeah.
It looks like that. It looks like... It just doesn't look like the person. It looks like the mask of a person. It just never looks right.
I'm sure there's an address in there you can write to the Mirror, and I'm sure they'll get back to you as soon as they can.
Wow, what a mood you're in tonight. Here's one in Selsdon. Hello, John.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
You have just verbalised the Big Brother dynamic absolutely brilliantly. You just said exactly what I was thinking, and I couldn't have put it better myself. But it probably put my little question into the shade.
Go on then.
Okay, the two twins. I think it's quite good that they've done that. You know, it's something new. But they're kind of one entity, aren't they?
Yes.
So what's going to happen when it comes to the vote if one of them gets voted out? I mean, what do you think of that?
Well, I think it's because they are so very alike. It's possible that if one of them does get voted out,
Yeah.
it might not necessarily be the one who we think is leaving.
Well, I have to admit, I've been on working nights this week, and I haven't even seen it yet. But you know, they're twins. They're from one egg. So you know, how are we going to know the difference?
Yeah, well, I bet they can't tell the difference.
Well, who
a lot
knows?
of the time.
I mean, they think they're the same person, don't they? They finish each other's sentences.
Yeah.
And so on. But like I say, when it comes to the vote, I mean, how are people going to make the distinction? Or are there going to be people saying, "Oh, we can't vote them both out"? You know, how's that going to work?
I don't think there's any chance of them being voted out any time soon.
No, I don't either, given what you said. But I have to say, what you verbalised at the beginning of the programme was absolutely fantastic.
If only I could remember what I said, John, I'd be miles ahead.
Well, anyway, you've got a great show, Nick.
Thanks a lot, John.
Thanks for letting me contribute.
All right, cheers. Thanks a lot. Ta-ta.
Good weekend. Bye for now.
This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott in for Ian. And here's one in Banstead. Hello, Charlotte.
Hello, Nick.
Charlotte.
Hello. Have you picked a horse out for the derby yet? Tomorrow? Horse?
I'm not really a horsey person. I think I've bet on a horse once in my entire life. I went into a betting shop and I queued up and I said, I'll have £5 on, and I just pulled a number from the air. And they gave me a piece of paper that looked like they'd just fished it out of the rubbish. And I looked at it and I thought, is that it?
Oh. Have you ever been to the derby?
No.
No. Because I live just down the road from Epsom.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I've never been to the derby itself.
Well, that's just...
I'm always going up there with the dogs, you know, at night. But I've never actually been. I might go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Force
yourself, Charlotte. You might enjoy it.
Yeah, actually, the favourite is Frankie Dettori. And it's his 15th attempt.
At winning the derby?
Yeah, it's his 15th attempt to win the derby.
Right. I've been to his restaurant. It was like... But I hope he rides horses better than he serves food. But I wish him all the best. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Charlotte.
Bye.
Ta-ta, dear.
Did she say his 15th attempt?
I'd got no idea. Yeah, well, that's what she said, but I don't know what that means.
Surely you'd take the hint, wouldn't you? You know.
Well, there's gold in them law horses.
Go keep trying until you win it.
Yeah. No, I don't know anything about horses, really. It's just of no interest to me. I mean, I might as well set fire to my money, which is exactly what I should have done with that £5. At least I would have got some warmth out of it, you know. But the Grand National, they gave me a piece of paper. It did look like they'd just torn a piece of paper off something they found on the ground, and they'd scribbled on it, and it didn't look like anything to me. I mean, I could have been a millionaire if only they'd typed it out.
That was your bet?
Yeah, that was it. And I gave them £5, and I got back in return nothing.
That was worthwhile.
Yeah. What kind of a game is that, then?
Why? Right now, the moment too soon.
When do we start?
Tonight.
Good. I'd like to get in, get on with it, get it over with, and get out. Get it?
Got it.
Good.
Where are all the kids who scream at each other on this show? They're all sitting on their hands, aren't they? That nasty Uncle Ned, don't want to play with us.
Oh, yeah. It's a half-term week as well.
Is it? Oh, well, they're probably all out playing. This is what I think that they should do. I haven't finished this thought yet. I want you to write down every one of the thoughts that I don't finish, and I'll wrap them all up at the end in a great big bow. Oh, it'll be lovely.
And chuck them in the bin.
Yeah. This is what they should do this evening on Big Brother. Not that I want to talk about this all night. If you want to talk about anything else, then please do call. Just stop me any time you like. If they had any sense, Channel 4 would, because it's a house full of women, all of whom will be gagging for a man, apart from the older, dumpier ones.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, the younger girls absolutely be tearing their hair out. They should send one good-looking man in.
Yeah.
A young, good-looking man of the same sort of age as the coven of stunners, and then step back and watch the sparks fly, because they will be killing each other. I mean, that would be actually properly hilarious television, because they will all want him, particularly if he's the only one in there for at least a week or so.
Yeah.
There'll be murder in the house, and then the older, fatter, uglier, dumpier women, who are the satellites around the coven of loveliness, will be amused by the events. Because at the moment, I would imagine they're feeling a bit left out, wondering why they ever volunteered for this mess in the first place.
They should put two men in, one for the younger crowd and one for the older crowd.
Hey, you know what?
And watch them fight it out.
Excellent idea.
Because, you know, just because they're young, you know, I'm sure the older ladies are gagging for it, as you say.
I would never say that.
Oh.
That's a repulsive thing to say.
Maybe the old man would end up with the young uns and vice versa.
Well, yeah, but the young ones would probably trample over the old ones and grab both of them for themselves. No, but I think that you've actually hit on something there.
Yeah,
Yeah, some for the younglings and some for the decrepit, old, fat, ugly ones.
It's quite easy, this coming up with Big Brother ideas, isn't it?
Well, you know what? Actually, no, it probably isn't. It looks like a very easy programme to do, but I imagine there's a lot of complicated machinations behind the scene. I mean, editing it to make us vote for the ones that they want us to would be quite hard as well, I imagine.
Well,
so that's what I think they should do. Not just spray men into the house willy-nilly in order just to, you know, pick up the slack. They should just put one in there, or, excellent suggestion from you, two, one for each age group, and then watch the sparks fly.
Oh,
because that would be properly entertaining. I see, like the rest of the country, I'm not so sure about this one at the moment, because the Daily Mail, who affects to be disinterested, but I think they protest too much, had an entire page on it today, basically telling us that no one's interested anymore. And if no one was interested anymore, then why would they make the whole of page 7 only about it?
The whole page?
Yes, exactly.
Not even room for an advert?
Not one single thing on page 7 that isn't about Big Brother. And most of it's telling us that no one's interested in Big Brother anymore. Which doesn't make a lot of sense, really, does it? But they're saying that it seems that viewers are growing tired of the wannabes' predictably raunchy antics. The audience for the programme's first night was down by a fifth on last year. Well, that might be because of any number of things. It was relatively nice, wasn't it? Having been... we were shown summer, and then it got taken away from us. And then we were shown it again, and then, just last week, we were plunged back into the depths of winter. And so the first night that Big Brother came back, it was relatively pleasant, right?
It was lovely.
And like caged animals, we were rushing from work, wanting, beyond anything else, to stand outside a pub with a pint in our hands. So that's probably where the nation was, outside.
Of course.
Breathing in the fresh air, yeah. So, that might be the reason why. The fall in ratings has led to claims that the Big Brother brand, an advertising goldmine for Channel 4, has been tainted by the disastrous handling of the race row on this year's celebrity version. It's got nothing to do with it. The only people that were upset about the race thing on Channel 4 were regulators. You know what I found was quite interesting? Of all the people that went into the house, the only one that got roundly booed by the mostly white audience outside was the black girl. Did you notice that?
Oh, was she?
From the moment she stepped out the car, they were pouring hate on her. Everybody else got either a mixed response or cheers, no matter what kind of mentally deranged act they put on in their little video. But the black girl, who expressed no opinion about her life or what she wanted to achieve that was different from anybody else's, which basically boils down to, I want to be famous.
Yeah.
So that was the same, pretty much. You know, sort of acquisitive nature. I like things. I like expensive things. I want to be famous. I like money. You know, all that sort of stuff that kids come out with these days. They all said pretty much the same. The only one that got booed for it was the black girl.
I thought one of the earlier ones got booed as well.
No, I watched the whole thing.
Oh.
Much to my shame. I'll add it to the list of things I'm ashamed of.
But the thing is, when they say, like, oh, the ratings have gone down for it,
yeah.
They don't say what the actual reasons are. We don't know what the reasons are behind the ratings drop. No. You know, I mean, you know, like you say, it could be for any number of reasons.
And you know what, ratings, how do they work ratings out on television? I think it's even less accurate than the ratings that they work out on radio, and they're up and down like a person's drawers.
Well, it depends whose.
So I think television is much less accurate. I think they ask, I don't know how many, so I'll just pull a number from space. 100 people, what they watched last night, and they extrapolate from that to 65 million people to see who likes what programme. Very inaccurate measure. And so I doubt that such a number, like a fifth lower, would be actually statistically significant.
Yeah, because if they choose an area in the country where the weather is, I don't know, really nice, and the rest of the country it's raining, you know, obviously in that part of the country where they're doing the survey and the weather's really nice, those people are going to be out and about.
Yeah, you make a good point. In fact, the very point that I just made a couple of minutes ago. Are you listening to this show?
Yeah, but I'm trying to pass it off as my own.
Ah, right. It continues. The house rules for this series have been updated to warn contestants against bullying. How ridiculous. That's the only reason that anybody's going to watch this thing. Well, that, and the desperate wish that people will actually have sex in front of your very eyes.
But the thing is it bullying? Is it, you know...
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Is it?
Well, abusing somebody who can't leave, someone who is trapped in the house with you, even if you're not speaking to them, even the withdrawal of love is bullying in this respect. I mean, if someone isn't being spoken to, like that old dear who used to be a headhunter, who is probably wondering why the hell she ever volunteered for this in the first place. She looked like a fish out of water. Everybody else was, all the other girls were just jumping up and down like that, and she was keeping her distance to the point that she was barely in the house anymore.
But isn't that life? You know, that you know, some people just don't get on. You know,
yeah, absolutely.
It's not necessarily bullying the fact that you don't talk to someone because you just maybe don't get on. Yeah, that's not bullying.
No, quite right. In real life, but these people are trapped. They're in a prison, and if you don't talk to somebody who is in the same room as you, then the feeling of exclusion will be just as bad as if you were hitting them on the head with a frying pan.
But a prison which they have chosen to enter.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's their own fault. You know, if they want to...
What a harsh and callous judge you are.
Well, you know, it is. It's their own fault. You know, if they... You know,
just a realist.
Yeah, I am a realist. Thank you, Alex. But, yeah, you're going to go into a house. There's going to be people, like there is in life, that you're not going to get on with. And sometimes, you know, you may be, excluded from certain, you know, groups of people in there.
Stop whining.
The house rules for the series have been updated to warn contestants against bullying, it says. They also make it clear that offensive remarks on the grounds of race, religion or sexuality are unacceptable. Which is why they've populated the house with fantastically good-looking girls and older, dumpier, uglier women. So that they can make offensive remarks on grounds that are not to do with race, religion or sexuality. It's like, oh, she's a mingin, or whatever kids say these days.
Well, you're saying that, they're older, dumpier women.
Yeah.
To some people, that's very, very attractive.
Yeah, I'll say. However, the series seems to be running true to form with a torrent of foul language, drinking, vulgarity and sexual exhibitionism from the all-female group of housemates. You don't say. Exhibitionism? Well, who'd have thunk it from Big Brother? This is the Mail getting all hot under the collar. Within hours of entertaining the house... This is what I love about British newspapers. You see, they say, we think that this is disgusting. And to show how disgusting we think this is, we're going to describe it in full detail, with pictures.
Brilliant.
Within hours of entertaining the house, unemployed former lap dancer Charlie Uchia, a cousin of the Manchester United footballer Kieran Richardson, made a desperate ploy for attention by ripping open her shirt for the cameras. And the Mail are so appalled by this behaviour that a picture of her doing that takes up most of the page.
Oh, dear. we like to be thorough.
I love this paper. I mean, I hate it, but I love it at the same time. It's like an errant child. You just want to slap it, but, you can't get that angry unless you're being monstered by them at the time. Lurid pictures have emerged that the 21-year-old frolicking, what a great word, topless in a swimming pool party hosted by rapper P. Diddy. P. Diddy. He's the, what did he used to call himself?
Puff Daddy?
Puff Daddy, yeah. Is he aware of the meaning of any of these words in English?
What did you say that to his face?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I would love to. If he can drop the bodyguards, I will absolutely do it, I guarantee.
I'm sure he'd do that in a second for you.
Yeah. Back inside, the women demanded more alcohol from producers before some admitted they had already drunk too much. They then left nothing to the imagination as they talked graphically about toilet habits. Their conversation left 60-year-old Women's Institute member Leslie looking more and more like a fish out of water. She's going to be first out because the public will think she's so boring. And nobody wants to see her in the shower.
Oh.
Well, you're thinking about it. You're thinking... really, you're thinking...
I'm just thinking that some people might want to.
Even she doesn't want to. Are you kidding?
Oh.
Have we got... what's going on here now,
oh, yes.
Mr. Producer Man?
Yes.
You want to write it up for me? Otherwise I won't know.
Sorry, I was just so angry
you
about
were
Big
rapt.
Brother.
Yeah, of course you were. Well, you could just tell me instead of typing it out.
All right, it's travel with Alan
He's
Joyce.
typing with his thumbs. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. Abbott.
Are you trying to be funny? Because I'm all out of laughs.
And I don't want to talk about Big Brother all night. Stop me if I go too far, but I'm just going to continue this thought from the Mail today. Were you watching this, Alex? Who affects not to watch anything or, keep up with... he's a man who's living in the 70s. He drives in the 70s, lives in the 70s, and doesn't watch anything at all. Not interested in football, not interested in beer, not interested in...
Where did you get all this information from?
I think he's from the 70s as well.
Yes.
I was here, actually, but I did see him... I saw him going in on the TV.
The show's fans have been quick to express their feelings about some of the contestants, says the Mail, huffing and puffing. A group called I Hate the Big Brother Twins, referring to the Barbie lookalikes, has already been launched on the internet. The blonde twins, who claim that they dislike chavs, were greeted by crowds of the house with a tumultuous chorus of boos, it says here. They can't have been watching the programme because they were cheered into the house. They loved them.
Did they?
Yeah, the only ones that the crowd booed, like I said, are the black girl. Interesting. In this non-racist, totally PC country that we live in.
I thought they were booing, like, pretty much everyone.
No, I don't think so. That's not what came out of my TV.
Oh, right.
They dislike chavs. I mean, that shows a sort of laughable lack of self-awareness, doesn't it? Girls, you are chavs. Look up chavs in the dictionary. There's a picture of you. Many have taken the lower-than-expected viewing figures as a sign that the bubble could be about to burst on the controversial show. I don't think there's any chance of that, because what else are you going to watch during the summer?
Yeah.
It's too important to Channel 4, but not just that, it's too important for the tabloids. The reason that they cover Big Brother all the time, particularly during the summer, which is a silly season when the politicians all go on holiday, can you believe they allow themselves that much holiday, is that nothing else happens. And so they've got acres of print in between the ads that they're having trouble selling, that they've got to fill up with something. And the easiest thing in the world, much easier than actually being a journalist and going out and finding stories, hardly anybody does that anymore, is to just look at the fax machine, and then your Big Brother story will come off from Freud Communications or whoever's got the account for Channel 4, and they'll just print it up. They just copy it and print it. And then there's your job done. You can put your feet up and spark up a cigar.
What did we used to do before Big Brother?
They had to go out and find stories.
But what did we used to do?
we had lives. You remember lives, don't you? You can remember going outside once in a while, can't you?
No.
No.
Hmm.
Yeah, some of us used to go out and play football instead of watch it on the TV, and playing frisbee, and
I think I used to go on
acting like a
holiday.
hippie. Holiday. Oh, I can remember holidays. No. Not even going when I were a lad. No, holidays. By the seaside, beside the sea.
I bet you people actually try and book their holidays so it doesn't clash with the final of Big Brother. I bet you there's people out there who do that.
Absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Despite the ratings, Channel 4 has hailed the opening night as a success, claiming that Big Brother was up against stiff competition in the form of ITV's Soap Awards.
Boring!
There can't be anybody who watched that, surely. I'd be very disappointed if anybody watched ITV's Soap Awards. I mean, all awards ceremonies are inherently silly, but some are much sillier than others.
I don't know. Isn't it something like half the country watch soaps?
Yeah, but are they interested? I think they're just like wallowing in other people's misery. It's like the Sex Pistols track, a cheap holiday in other people's misery. That's what soaps are. Can you believe that Johnny Rotten wrote a line that was quite so perfectly summed up the nation's pastime? Soaps, a cheap holiday in other people's misery. I defy you to sum up soaps in fewer words than that. Here's Sheffield. Oh, Jessica.
Hello, Nick.
Jessica.
Sorry to interrupt your 45-minute rant about Big Brother. I'm really surprised at you, Nick. I never had you down as a Big Brother kind of fan.
Well, I had avoided it my whole life.
Yeah.
Until last year somebody said...
Oh, okay.
You got to... Was it you? Somebody did. Somebody said, you got to watch Big Brother because people will keep calling you about it. And I watched one, and I was hooked from that moment on. So it's like, you know, it's like heroin to a junkie.
Yeah.
I'm down to about 5 episodes a week now, man. But I can handle it.
Yeah, it's surprising. Let's hope that person hasn't got the cheek to call up again.
I think it was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Evil.
So I was going to change the subject, if that's okay.
Yes, please do, yeah.
Classical music.
Yes.
Yeah, I've kind of had an epiphany. I've become a bit addicted.
I knew you were going to say epiphany, isn't that strange?
Weird. I was on the train coming back from London yesterday, and it was half term. There was a lot of kids on the train.
Awful.
Yeah, singing songs that they didn't really know the words to.
Yeah.
But I downloaded onto my iPod one of these free kind of classical music tracks.
Right.
And I was really calm about the whole situation, and I think it was because of the classical music.
Right, so in other words, you were listening to classical music and it slowed your heart rate and made everything seem less awful.
It made it seem like everything was all right.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that I was listening to, I don't really know what it is. I'd quite like to know, actually. Track 7.
Oh, track 7. Oh, that's one of my favourites.
Yeah, that's how it showed up on the iPod. That's all about...
Beethoven, isn't it?
It's from the film, you know, the film Brass.
Oh, the film. Track 7 from the film. Oh, Jessica, memories, what memories?
Where they're having, like, the...
Oh, I know. It's great, that bit.
I'd love to know what that track is. Maybe Philip or something's listening and you can tell me.
Yes.
I do think...
Was it this one?
No.
Okay.
Do you like classical music?
You know what? Yes, I do. And from in my youth, I didn't really get it. It's got no beat, man. I said it's not hip and happening because I used to live in the 50s in a jazz club, as a matter of fact. I said this is not happening for me, Daddy-o. But as you get older, in fact, when Classic FM came on the air, is pretty much when I started to get interested in classical music because they presented it in such lovely, fluffy bitelets. I thought, oh yeah, you know what? These are hits. I understand hits. Sitting through a symphony is a bit like going from orange juice straight to crack with nothing in between. You've got to, work your way up.
Well,
haven't you, Alex?
I think I might adopt it for the summer, as opposed to Big Brother.
Going to a classical music concert is a deeply calming experience.
Is it?
Well, once you forget once you put it out of your mind that there's nothing to look at, you know, you go to a concert and there's bright lights and back projections and people are running about and, you know, all of that rock and roll stuff. But
I think I might like it. I've not really been into music on the radio for quite a long time, but the classical stuff it might make me tune into Classic FM or Heart.
Yeah, Heart. Yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Jessica. Right. Best of luck with that. Shut up. Marla, that's what I recommend. If you learn nothing else from listening to this show, you will have learnt nothing else from listening to this show.
Catching up on the indicator.
First one in West London. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Basically, all I want to say is, Big Brother, actually, we're going to do exactly what you said.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Big Brother, you know your thing, your theory about the one guy coming in?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're going to do today.
Yeah, well, if they've got any sense, that's exactly what they should do, yeah. Put one man in, and then close the door really quick, like throwing meat into a lion's den. Close the door really quickly, and then watch the bloodshed.
Or like throw Jade Goody in India.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
All right, thanks a lot, mate.
Cheerio.
Ta-ta. It's, Crawley. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Nick.
Richard.
It's actually, Big Brother's actually become a bit of, it's starting to become actually fashionable for talk presenters to say when they're not going to talk about Big Brother anymore. It's become such a big thing. Well, that's not the main point. I just thought I'd drop that in there.
I didn't really understand you're saying that it's fashionable for radio presenters to say that they're not going to talk about it.
Well, yeah, it's because I'm talking really LBC, really.
Right.
If you go through the schedule, if you work out, apart from one or two, most of them have pretty much, maybe if you're listening to them 5 years ago, they would probably be talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
But now, I think a lot of them are avoiding it now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Carol, for instance.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see what she says when she comes back. But what I was really going to talk about was you mentioned about the ratings.
Yeah.
And how accurate they were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all know how inaccurate the ratings are on the radio, with the diary system.
A deathly silence here.
But with the TV, it's actually a lot more sophisticated. It's the Barb system, and they actually have set-top boxes which are connected to your videos and TVs and all your other gadgets on your TV.
The set-top box is connected to your...
Firebone, something like that.
Huh. And how many people do they survey?
I'm just looking on the website now. It says 5,100 homes, equating to 11,500 individuals.
Right.
Which is a lot better than on the radio, I think.
Is it? Okay. Well, thanks for the good news, Richard.
See you later.
Now we can have full confidence in those figures. Tell them to come over here and measure this.
What? On 96.
It's a good idea to get someone else's opinion.
I'll be the judge of that. Oh, congratulations, everybody, by the way. This is the first day of your working year in which you'll make money for yourself.
Huh?
Up to this point, every penny that you've earned this year has gone straight into the pockets of Gordon Brown's capacious slacks. He spent it on the Death Star, I think.
I wonder what that big thing was in the sky.
Yes. A big, shiny yellow thing. Yeah, now that's something else. We're unused to seeing it, I know, but it's the sun, son. No, it's Tax Freedom Day. Rejoice, rejoice. Today is Tax Freedom Day, that happy point in the year when we finally have earned enough money to pay off all of our taxes and can at last start earning for ourselves. It might come as a shock that we have spent 5 months working solidly for the benefit of Gordon Brown and his colleagues at the Treasury. Do we have any sound effect for Gordon Brown and his colleagues at the Treasury? Not only boo, but hiss too. But that's the reality of it, according to the Adam Smith Institute, the independent think tank which calculates the date annually. This year's Tax Freedom Day comes 2 days later than it did in 2005, and more than a week later in 2003.
Is that the same for everyone, then?
No, presumably this is the day for people who pay a bottom rate tax. People who earn top rate tax. Oh, don't you just dream to be in the group of people who earn top rate tax?
What?
40%.
Is that what it is, the top rate? 40%? Oh, no, I hate to pay all that.
Well, no, it means that you would actually be earning above a certain amount. I can't remember what it is now.
Yeah, but you don't want to just be over the cut-off point, do
you? I think they only charge you 40% of the amount that's over the cut-off point.
Oh.
So in other words, everything you earn, like Roman Abramovich must be tearing his hair out. Or at least the army of accountants that he's got swirling around him to make sure that he doesn't pay, a penny more than he actually should. Not that I'm saying that, him or any rich people do everything in their power to avoid giving Gordon Brown the same amount that all the rest of us poor types do. But they do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's a whole industry. Half of the city is making sure that the other half of the city doesn't pay a penny in tax. Their jobs depend on it.
Is that true?
No.
Oh.
This year's Tax Freedom Day comes 2 days later than it did in 2005, more than a week later than it did in 2003. And that extra week certainly was worth it, wasn't it?
No!
No.
I've never heard of such a day.
Haven't you?
No.
It comes around every year.
Oh.
But then you insulate yourself from the wide world outside. I've never met anybody like you. You've got no idea what's going on. You just you just drift through life in your head. Like outside, it's a swirling whirl of all of this stuff is coming at you all the time. But in your head, you're going la 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 la, just drifting through. It's like little sheep gambling across bright green meadows.
I don't like to participate in life. It's too much like hard work and it's too expensive.
Yeah, no, well, I don't like nature, for instance. I mean, after what it did to me. Here is the Oval. Daniel?
Yep.
Hi, Daniel.
Hello, mate. You see, when you were talking about Big Brother...
Yeah.
You mentioned about the TV rating points?
Yes.
Basically, yeah...
Press 1 if you would like to speak to an operator.
No. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, basically, they target an area, like demographically, like let's say, one TV rating point would be 1% of the target audience.
Press 2 if you would like to speak to a representative. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So they work it out how?
The percentage of the target audience viewer spot, which is like, which one TV rating point will be like 1% of the target audience. So they will have like, they would have, the TV companies, they would have different survey points where they survey their target audience. So basically it's not just, surveying each and every single person, but the whole target as a whole.
Press 3 for balance transfers. Thanks very much, Daniel, for clearing that up for us, mate. All right.
By the way, about Big Brother, right?
Yes.
You said it would be nice to have a guy in there, one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a best idea, I'm telling you.
Right.
It would be nice to have, I'll be lucky to have the twins, man. I'll be very happy.
Okay. Press 5 to reset your PIN. Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da.
Press 4 to hear these options again.
Press 5 if you'd like to kill yourself rather than hang on for another 30 minutes listening to Greensleeves. God, I hate those people. And every time you have a problem with your bank or your credit card or anything like that, you know that there goes your day.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the phone for, it could be the rest of your life. And you have to butter them up. No, it doesn't matter whether you've been waiting on the phone for 45 minutes, an hour and 45, or since Christmas. If you start being aggressive with them, which of course is the only thing that you want to be, because you've just wasted your life and you've punched in all 16 digits on the front of your credit card, and then the first thing they do when you actually speak to a human being is ask you what your credit card number is. Well, my question is, why the hell did you have to go through that in the first place?
Doesn't it throw you, though, when they answer straight away? And you're not ready.
That never happens.
I've had that. You're ready for it to sit there, and you're not even holding the phone against your head.
You've got a little snack prepared.
Yeah. Some couple of things lined up on YouTube or whatever to pass the time, and they answer, and you go, ooh.
Well, sometimes I do dial the number and then put it on speakerphone and then go, because sometimes you'll make the mistake of dialing the number without thinking things through, and you need to go to the loo.
Well, this is the thing. You realise that you need a cordless phone. if you're gonna, you're gonna ever phone these numbers.
I rid my house of cordless phones because they are apparently going to grow you a tumour the size of a football.
Really?
Well, that's what they said. It's like having a mobile phone mast in your house, they said. Those decked phones.
Yeah, but I could think of nothing worse. If you have to, sit on the phone for like 15 minutes, trying to get through to someone.
Sit on the throne for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and you're stuck, in one corner of your flat or your house.
That must be so squalid and horrible for you.
It is. I prefer to have a cordless phone, risk the tumour, and carry on with my day.
Yes, you're quite right. I agree with everything you just said. I can't remember where this was going now. Where was this going? Let's try and work back. Oh, it was press 5 to for a change of identity.
Cordless phones.
Why do they ask you what your credit card number is if punching it in on your little keypad there, if the first thing that they ask you when they speak to you is what's your credit card number? They know that already. It's up on the screen there, surely.
To confirm?
To confirm. Why are you just so sensible?
Just in case you've just made up the first one.
Right.
And they're just double checking.
Surely after if you enter the first one incorrectly, then it will show up then.
Yeah. They say, we do not recognise this number. Click. But you have to be super nice to them because they're under tremendous pressure to get through all these phone calls. I imagine they're sitting in a large room with a clicker at the front which tells them how many people are waiting.
Yeah.
And they're all on a performance target, so they have to get through calls as quickly as possible. And one of the ways in which they can get through a call really quickly is to hang up on you, thereby having dealt with your call. And I'm sure that they do this a lot. If the clicker starts showing that there's far too many people waiting, then their supervisor will be going around and cracking the whip. Literally and figuratively. And so, by just dumping a lot of calls, which is when the line just goes dead on you, it's not some mechanical glitch, it's them just keeping up with the calls that are coming in.
The really annoying thing is I trying to get through to the gas company the other day, and I eventually got a tone which I didn't know was an engaged tone. It was completely different to the normal engaged tone you get, and so
how did it go? Everyone's keen to know.
It was like a
beep 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 beep.
No.
Did it go a bit like?
It was like a beep beep.
Right.
And so I thought, oh, it's ringing someone, but it wasn't. Yeah. It was an engaged tone.
It's probably what the engaged tone in Bombay sounds like.
It's not as annoying as when you hear it get picked up for a second.
Yeah.
You hear
rustle, and then
the background noise, and then
yeah. Well, that's exactly what they're doing. They're just answering it and getting rid of it, thereby bringing the numbers down. Isn't that infuriating?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just want to take a gun and just go over there, wherever they may be.
Well, eventually I got this message just saying, oh, the other person has cleared. And I've been on it for the last 12 minutes. Waste of time, isn't it?
Sometimes you can affect to be so... And I don't mean to be insulting when I say this, but pathetic, in the nicest possible way. It's like... life is it's just such a stress.
It is a stress.
Yeah.
I hate it.
But you don't seem to be a stressed person. You seem to just waft through life without it affecting you. It just sort of drips off you like water off a duck.
Well, it's because I try not to participate in it, that's why.
Right. I wish I did, because I'm on stress pills at the moment. Every time I get aggravated about something, I have to take a pill.
What have you got to be stressed about?
Go to your happy place.
Not that kind of a pill. This is LBC. It's as near as makes no difference. 15:15. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. We're still looking at delays heading there.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Come on in.
It's South London. Hello, Reza.
Hello there, how are you?
I am all right, mate.
Good, good. I just wanted to call in and say, I'm calling from South London, and you're talking about these calls that you're trying to make to these companies. But what are the companies when they call you from India?
Yes.
They pretend to be, Bill and Bobby and Tommy and Johnny and Tracy and all of these people.
Really?
They pretend to be... It's bloody ridiculous, man. I got a call today during my dinner time. Hello, this is Bobby. I'm calling from such and such company. Yeah, I know that you have a mortgage on this company. Would you like another mortgage? I'm a bloody mortgage broker myself, you see.
Right.
I just don't know why they're calling and why they're pretending to be a different name. My name is Reza. I'm not going to pretend to be, I don't know, Ruth or Rupert.
Do you mind if I call you Ruth for the purposes of this call?
You can call me Ruth if you want to.
I can
call me Reza.
I can call you anything I like as long as I call.
As long as?
Listen, thanks for the update, mate. That was excellent. Cheers, all right.
Thank you. I'm putting in the thing.
I'm what?
When I'm putting in the thing, I'm putting the pudding.
When you're putting the what?
Yeah, why are you hanging up on me? When I'm putting in the thing...
Why am I hanging up on you?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't hung up on you.
Oh, I see, okay. No, sorry. So basically, I just wanted to say that it's very annoying when they call.
Yeah, like you said.
And I don't know how do you get them off of your number off the list?
You hang up on them.
But I do it every single time. I hang up. Sometimes I make a bit of a joke or...
Why are you hanging up on them?
I give advice, as to how you can make your salesmanship better, because some guy was trying to pressure me into getting this phone contract.
Hey, have you got a joke?
Pardon?
What kind of joke do you use?
Oh, I just, you just say, well, you're calling me, but in reality, why? What's the point? And they haven't got anything to say. Then they carry on with the thing that they're reading on their screen, saying, oh, but yes, Mr. Reza, we now... another thing, they pretend to be the same religion as you. Like, for example, they think that I'm a Muslim... Yeah, because my name is Reza, so they go, oh, salam alaikum, Mr. Reza. But I could be, anything. I could be Indian Christian, I could be Pakistani Jewish, I could be anything.
Right. Okay, listen, thanks a lot, Ruth. I've really got to go. All right, cheers, mate.
That's okay, so Reza, anyway.
Why am I hanging up on him? Well, let's count the ways. We got reason aplenty. There were 3 stories today which papers like to tut about. Oh, it's political correctness gone mad. There's an overused phrase. I can't stand that phrase, but it seems to crop up on a daily basis in the newspapers. Which you would know, Chris, if you ever read one. Shall I put Big Brother on and comment on it as we go through? A live commentary on Big Brother. It's a no, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's one that said... children have been banned from playing in the street. Now, we don't know the actual facts, ma'am, because children can be really irritating when they're playing in the street, playing football and banging the ball up against your car and screaming and shouting and wailing.
I know. Have you ever had a ball smack you in the face?
I love the way Alex laughs quietly.
I know. I have.
Let it out, Alex!
I think it was probably deliberate, was it, in your face?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, poor baby. A ball smacked in your face? Really?
Yeah, but what do you do? Because they're kids, they're just playing innocently, so...
Probably not, in your case, no.
Oh.
They said, look at that hippie walking along, humming to himself. La 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 la. He's going, drifting along, completely oblivious. Let's smack him in the face, they said.
Yeah.
So they got you right full in the face, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Was it a football?
It was a football.
Not one of those light plastic.
It wasn't one of those, like, floaters.
Right.
It was a proper leather one.
Well, that's probably exactly what they said when you went by. There's a floater, let's get him.
Probably.
You got smacked in the face by a leather football.
Yeah.
That's awful. When did that happen?
Oh, it was last summer, but still,
It still smarts.
Yeah, but it's horrible because your whole face goes numb.
Ah.
What did you say to them?
Kids. I did that thing where, you kind of pretend, it didn't hurt.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And you go, oh, what was that? What was that?
A fly just landed on my face.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little tingle in my face, don't quite know what it is.
Yeah, carry on walking.
Don't break your stride, whatever you do.
And don't look round, whatever you do.
I don't know why that would give us such pleasure, Alex. I mean, just the thought of it. You burst out laughing.
So is this why kids aren't allowed to play in the street anymore? Because they can't control
themselves? A council has banned children from playing in the street because it is a danger to the public.
Exactly.
Well, as has been proven on this show. Yeah, quite right, too.
There you go.
Yeah. So what did you say anything at all? You just carry on and pretend that it didn't happen?
No, I kind of
Did they laugh?
A little bit, yeah. Not that hard. I just kind of like kicked the ball back to them and carried on,
Did you?
but wanted a little cry.
Yeah.
Because
Well, it hurts. Yeah, of course, that's right. How old were they?
They were only about 10.
All right.
But, you know...
So it's illegal to beat them up, isn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, even at 10 years old, you can still kick a ball really hard.
Yeah, that's right. Poor baby.
Thank you.
Officials from the Leicestershire County Council have told residents of some close in Glenfield that all toys, including dolls and bicycles, must be removed from the road immediately. Children cannot have a game of football in the street because... because using jumpers as makeshift goalposts has been banned.
What?
It's a danger to the public to put a jumper down on the road.
But kids don't put goals down on the road. They're not that stupid.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You've got to put your jumpers down on the road to form a goal, surely.
Yeah,
Otherwise, where are the posts?
Surely they do it in a field, in, you know, a local park. They don't put the goalpost down in the middle of the road.
Well, if you had a local park, but unfortunately the government has sold off all school fields, at least, to make executive flatlets with no windows or cupboards.
Yeah, but how many times have you been driving your car along the road and you
6.
and you swerve to avoid the goalposts made out of jumpers?
Never.
Exactly.
Not once.
Yeah.
But this was a cul-de-sac, you see. This is kids don't play in the street in London.
Yeah.
Because the streets are so very busy. I mean, it would have to be a very quick game of football to play on, well, the A3, for instance.
Yeah, you have to bring the goalposts a bit closer together.
Yeah, that's right. You'd start, and then the game would be over.
Just run over there.
All the participants would be dead. Yes. Parents have been warned that they face a £100 fine if their children are caught flouting the ban. And here's a question: why does everything in this country come with a fine? We've got to be one of the most peered at and fined people on earth. How did it come to this? It used to be that an Englishman's home was his castle. Fairly soon, it will be, by law, they'll be installing cameras in your house, and every time you burp without excusing yourself, they will fine you. The local authority claims its stance is backed by the Highways Act 1980, which states, quote, "Any person depositing anything on the highway or playing football on the highway is guilty of an offence."
On the highway?
Yeah. It's a cul-de-sac. In this tiny little place, it's so small I've never even heard of it. I mean, it can't have any traffic at all. However, it is illegal because it's dangerous to public safety to put your jumper down on a cul-de-sac to make it act like a goalpost.
I don't see how they think that the jumper is more dangerous just lying on the floor than the balls flying around.
Are you questioning the Highways Act 1980?
Possibly.
So that's
fine.
Yes, exactly.
They must have had complaints or something if they've chosen this one little road.
I think. And all the papers are having a field day with this because it's on the face of it, it does sound so very silly. But kids playing football in a road where cars are parked, and it's just noisy, isn't it? Because cricket, the sound of cricket, I mean, I live near where football and cricket is played, and the sound of football in the winter is an unlovely thing. It's one of the worst sounding sports there is. It's not as bad as skateboarding, the worst sounding sport in the world, cowabunga, but it's less attractive than almost any other sport because they have to shout to each other all the time. like that. And it goes on for 90 minutes. So it's an unlovely sport to hear, which I think is one of the reasons that women dislike it so much. That, the continual shouting and the animalistic roar of the crowd.
It only sounds like that because you're listening to it through windows.
What?
You're hearing it through, you know, through your.
Go on, John,
If you went out and joined them, you'd hear it clear as day.
If I went out and joined them, I'd be playing football.
Oh no!
And that's right out.
Oh.
I avoided it at school. I went around the corner to the cafe and sat in the basement with the lads playing "Play That Funky Music, White Boy" by Wild Cherry on the jukebox and nursing a coffee for 2 hours.
You could have just gone in goals.
Oh, a rebel.
I'm a rebel and I'll never be any good. I shall have to get that audio. It's one of the things that I keep mentally reminding myself to do and then mentally forgetting immediately.
Stick on the list.
I have to write it on my forehead. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. So football is a very unlovely sounding sport. And my theory is that that's one of the reasons that women can't be in the same room, not all women, obviously, but by and large, as football on television. It's not the football per se, because that's green, and is, you know, quite pleasant to look at, because it's just green. The easiest colour on the eye. It's the sound of it, that animalistic crowd roar. It just drives them from the room. Am I right?
Possibly.
I mean, you dislike football, Alex. Why do you dislike it?
I actually used to play it when I was at school.
Oh. Did you get hit in the face by a ball?
Yeah. I've got hit in the face by many balls. A tennis ball in the chest is particularly unpleasant as well.
A tennis ball? I'm surrounded by girly girls. I thought I was the weak one here. A tennis ball?
Yeah, at high velocity in the chest. The other end of the playground when you're not expecting
Who
it.
are you playing? VJ Armitage?
A full head of hair is...
I say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Rich tea biscuit. I didn't believe such things still existed.
Rich tea?
Yeah, why would you choose one of those? Ain't got no chocolate on.
No, you can get plain rich teas, and they're great if you've been ill as well.
What?
Well, you know, like when you've been ill,
yeah.
and you don't feel like eating.
Right.
It's just good to have something plain.
Is it backing up on you?
A little bit.
I thought it was going to come out there for a second. It looked like you were about to do a psychedelic yodel.
It's all clear now.
Okay, glad to hear it. Because it's plain. It's a bit like. It's a bit like
cardboard.
It's exactly the word I was going to use. It's a bit like eating the packet it comes in.
It's like, you know, like people tell you to eat a bit of dry toast when you've been ill. Just because it's plain, but that, you know, that, I think rich tea is the way to go.
Actually, you know what?
All right, aren't you? You just need something to wash it down with.
Exactly. It turns into concrete in your mouth. And now I wish I hadn't had it. But it's very sweet.
Yeah, don't add water then, it'll turn to cement.
Well, it's stuck itself to my teeth now. I'll be forever picking it.
I'll go and grab a cup of tea.
Thank you very much. Here's Dartford. Hello, Betty.
Oh, hello, is that Chris? No, is that Nick?
Yes, Betty.
Oh, I did speak to you once before.
Oh, yeah.
Only I just rang Chris to say it's flipping football tonight, so...
Oh, never mind about that.
You won't have many calls.
Oh, well, never mind.
Oh, well, I haven't really... I miss Ian, but he'll be back next Tuesday.
Is he back next Tuesday?
Yes.
How do you know? Is that correct, Tuesday?
Yes, he told me, he rang me.
He rang you?
Yes.
He rang you?
Yeah, he sent me a beautiful bouquet for my birthday.
Really? Why would he do that?
From Morocco.
He sent you he sent you a bouquet from Morocco?
Yeah, through the post, like, you know, into Flora.
Right. He was in Morocco? I'm confused.
Yes, he was in Morocco, last Friday week.
Was he?
With Chris.
Really?
And they came back Sunday.
He went to Morocco with Chris?
Yeah.
What would he do that for?
For LBC.
I am very confused. Is any of this true, Alex?
Yeah, I went too.
You went to Morocco?
Yeah, I was at OB last Friday.
Yeah, and they came back Sunday.
How come I didn't know? This is completely news to me.
Yeah, I flew back earlier to make Saturday
Then
show.
on Monday he was in.
Yeah.
Tuesday he's gone to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And he's coming back next Tuesday.
And him without a passport? Next Tuesday?
Yep.
Am I doing him on Monday? Or is it someone else? I've got to look at my diary these days. I've got no idea when I'm on anymore.
Chris on tonight.
Chris? Who's Chris?
Who's on the producer?
Oh, producer Chris. Yeah, he's making a cup of tea now, Betty. How'd you like it?
Oh, that's fine.
Why does Ian send you flowers?
Because, and he told me to look out Wednesday and I'd get a card from his mum.
Are you a close personal friend or just a caller that he's taken to?
Well, I'm a caller, but we're quite friends.
Right.
I ring him nearly every night.
Well, this is heartwarming, Betty.
Yeah.
That somebody on the radio would actually take the time and expense to, conduct a relationship with one of his callers.
You saw my phone bill had 0870 83 calls.
0870.
0870, that's you.
Oh, you mean you called us 83 times?
Yeah.
Well, there's money well spent. Thanks a lot, Betty, and all the best. Hope you enjoy the flowers. All right?
Yes.
All right, cheers, my dear. Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Another satisfied customer. This is the second story in the... I guess the first one wasn't its political correctness gone mad, but this one is. This is in the Telegraph, and the headline is, "When is a male bird not a cock?" And the answer is on the RSPB website. The Royal Society for the Protection of Birds has banned the use of the word cock when applied to the male of the species in case it causes offence. There's that word again, offence. You can't read two sentences in the papers these days without coming across it. Everyone seems to be a professional offence taker. In a move condemned for, quotes, taking political correctness too far, a correspondent on the RSPB, the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, online forum, was surprised to find that his use of the word cock when referring to a male blackbird was replaced with 4 asterisks. The contributor, named as John D., which is offensive in itself, of Holmfirth in Yorkshire, says, "It's censorship that is just silly. Why should I have said... what should I have said then? The daddy bird?" The moderator replied, "It's not political correctness. The issue is words that can be used in an offensive context, and we should not forget that the RSPB website has a massive viewing from children." Pretty much all internet forums use the same similar filters. It's far from an ideal situation. It's better to be safe than sorry, he said, which I think is the modern disease. We're far too safe, and no one has the opportunity to be sorry anymore, which means that we just have a life that has no excitement in it. It's just adequate.
When did this all... I was thinking the other day, when did this all really start, all this PC and... not being able to do anything, and...
Well, I think it's certainly within the last 10 years, isn't it?
Is it an EU thing? Is that what's causing it, or...?
I think it's what happens when your country is run by lawyers.
Because it's definitely, my generation, weren't affected by it.
No, I was...
Seems this
gloriously unaffected by anything politically correct. I mean, if we could transport ourselves back to the playground that I used to, smoke fags in, then most of the people that are running the country would fall in a dead faint. No, it's properly silly. Well, you just go back to the 1970s and some of what passed for comedy television. On the buses, My Neighbour Next Door. What was that thing called?
No, I know the one you mean. Or maybe it wasn't so good then. No, you mentioned it.
Yeah, maybe we have made great strides. Well, at least we haven't got, what was that My Neighbour Next Door thing? It was Reg Varney.
Love Thy Neighbour.
Love Thy Neighbour, yeah, that's right. I mean, some guy got, did he not get arrested for driving around with a children's doll on the front of his car? The type of doll that you used to get free with marmalade. It was so readily accepted. Gollywogs.
That kind of doll, yeah.
Right? I mean, that's an acceptable word to you. Well, it's just descriptive.
I remember Lucy telling me she went to, I think, somewhere in Norfolk, and the shop was still selling them there.
Well, why not? It's a children's toy. It's, I mean, they're antiques now, surely.
But she was outraged.
Lucy was?
Yeah.
She's another a person who is professionally outraged at everything. I wouldn't have thought it of Luce. I mean, how can she stand me? She loves this show.
It's because she gets to talk about her dog all
for
3
yeah,
hours.
On and on and on and on, yeah. She's going on holiday, isn't she? Is she in Spain right now?
Tomorrow morning.
Is that the only reason that she likes to work with me? Because I give her more rein, speaking of dogs, to talk about her pets.
No, that's me being unfair.
Are you lying?
No. Honest scuff.
Anyway, back to this excellent story. The poster who had had his contribution censored, had the final word in writing another posting. He said, "I was thrilled to see on the bird table a pair of," and here he lapses into Latin, "Paris Major. As bird lovers will know," he writes, "Paris Major is a great tit. And while 4 stars do not get past the forum censor, tits do not cause offence."
The pair is even better.
When is it not in order to refer to a male bird as a star and a female as a hen? I've heard of PC, but this is taking things too far. I thought it was just comically silly. There's another one, which was in the papers today. Political correctness gone mad in a continuing series. But first, here's Hi Wycombe. Oh, Edwina.
Hi.
Edwina.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Good. Just a reminder, you're on Clive's Bull Show on Monday.
I'm on Clive Bull's show on Monday.
Yeah, you're taking over.
Yes, that's right.
Didn't you know? Did your memory blank out?
No, yes, I remember now. So at that point, Paul Ross will be on holiday, Clive Bull will be on holiday, Ian will be on holiday, and Jenny will be on holiday.
I thought Ian was back on Monday. He's away Sunday. I thought he was back on Monday.
Ian?
Yeah.
Is Ian back Monday?
I believe so.
I thought so,
Yeah.
but now I doubt
We
myself.
just had a nice caller saying, who seemed to have a close personal relationship with Ian, saying he's back on Tuesday.
And,
Maybe I'm doing 3 shows that day.
and regarding the blank, blank, blank word,
Yes.
I understood that was something to do with the computer. You know, for example, on your computer, if someone says anything wrong,
Yeah.
you know, that shouldn't do, doesn't that sort of blank out automatically? That you've got certain words that automatically would blank out if used by a caller. Is that not right?
Oh, no, we do that we do that by hand. What, you mean the dump button, when we can disappear
but
10 seconds of airtime?
I thought Clive or one of you mentioned it some time ago.
Yeah.
There are certain words that automatically get used.
No, I think he was kidding about that.
Oh, right.
No, we have to pay attention to the shows that we're doing, just in case, something goes out that shouldn't.
Yeah, because I heard...
Like most of the shows so far, for instance.
Yes,
What?
because I heard someone...
Don't say it.
No, refuting.
You're going to say it, aren't
No,
you?
no. Refuting that they had blanked it out, that it will be used in the right context in future.
Right.
Yes.
Well, the right context is television. You can say anything you like on television, and if in doubt, just look up. If you're on television, then it's okay.
Yes. And you should... I'm surprised that you didn't know about the Marrakesh trip. That Ian...
So am I, yeah. I mean,
Alex and...
this is a centre of communication, but never mind.
But, you know, it was fantastic because Alex made it back to your show on Saturday in such fantastic time.
Hurrah!
Yeah, he must have had a magic carpet to do that.
Yeah, he calls it his, the big... It must be like driving on a magic carpet, that great big floaty car that you've got, that limousine that is shining outside.
So, before I go, are you doing Sunday night?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, I am.
Goodness.
Doubles from now until, I think, Friday. Friday I only do 1 show.
Good grief.
I'm on 2 shows a day from this moment on.
You're doing well. You're doing well. I'm going to look forward to this.
Well, it's not my definition of well, Edwina. My peers are millionaires and drive to work in Bentleys. I can barely afford the bus fare. It's not my definition of doing well.
Many a millionaire disguises themselves that they're paupers, So you can never judge a book by its cover.
No, but if I look poor, that's because I am.
You are.
They may affect to look poor, but it takes an enormous amount of money to look that scruffy.
But what is your definition of poor?
Me. In the dictionary is a picture of me next to poor.
Okay. Well, enjoy your evening.
Thanks, Edwina.
God bless. Bye.
Ta-da. This is LBC. Ian, so tell me about this Marrakesh trip, then.
Oh, it was some kind of sponsored freebie that we managed to get.
Well, that's really talking it down. Some kind of sponsored freebie. You're just flicking that away.
Well,
talk it up, boy.
Well, I don't know too much about it. It was just like the sales team here kind of like said, "Oh look, we've managed to blag you guys a free trip to Marrakesh." So we thought, wicked,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So where did you stay? At Mamounia?
No.
You know the song by Paul McCartney on the famous Band on the Run album, which is the only thing that anybody's been remotely interested in Paul McCartney since he left the Beatles. Mamounia, fabulous track. Great hotel, apparently. 5-star luxury all the way. Where were you staying?
Never heard of it.
Wasn't it the Nassim or something?
Nassim.
Some nasty place.
No.
4-star, wasn't it?
It was a 4-star hotel.
Oh, right. 4-star. Yeah. Go on. So you flew coach first, business?
No, just coach.
Okay.
Do they call it coach? Economy,
Don't
isn't
they? Economy, right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an Americanism, call it coach. It just looks like a coach.
Yeah.
Yes?
I'll tell you the rest after the travel.
Oh, travel. We've drifted on. Sorry about that, Alan. Here's travel news with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. We're looking at the latest.
It's happening. It's wild. And it's now.
I want to quiz you more about Marrakesh, so keep it in your mind and rehearse, all right?
Okay, Dan.
So far, you've been rubbish.
Well, we only there for one day.
It's, Streatham. Oh, Mo?
Hello there.
Mo.
You alright?
Yes, I am, thanks. How are you going?
Hello. Yeah, I'm good, man. But just, I want to talk about the smoking and that, and smoking ban.
The smoking ban, it's 1 month away, right?
I know, it's so close. I just want to say before that, I never heard your show before. Like, it's quite good. How come, like, you're talking and that, but like, not that many people are calling? Is it because of the football, you think, or just?
Well, I haven't really been punting for calls because I've had too much to say.
I heard you reading the papers and all that. But it's funny, some of them stories, yeah. Yeah, this smoking thing, does this mean you're not going to be able to smoke anywhere?
One of the papers had a list of where you can and can't, but I think basically it means that if it's in public, and that includes in your house or car, if you use partly for business, then you will not be able to smoke. No, isn't that fantastic?
So no, I'm not. So I can't smoke in my own house.
Yeah, that's right, Mo. You won't be able to smoke in your own house. Cameras have been secretly installed, and you'll be fined for every ciggy you light up. Of course you'll be able to smoke in your own house.
Oh, I will, but I tell you what, though, you're right about them cameras. I bet they got cameras in dustbins now, don't they? Tell if you're recycling and that.
That's almost correct, yeah. Cameras in dustbins. Not quite, but, yeah, near enough for jazz, yeah.
I read it in The Sun.
Did you?
Yeah, must be true then, isn't it?
I suppose so, yeah.
You know what? Another thing with the smoking ban, right?
Yeah.
You see these joints in Edgware Road and that.
The joints.
Yeah, like shops.
Oh, right.
Cafes.
Yeah.
All these Arabs come and like Asians and that. They come and they smoke that big pipe.
In Edgware Road.
Yeah, Edgware Road. I think it's Hubbly Bubbly and Shisha and all that. It's like flavoured tobacco. I had some in Tooting the other day. It's a shop called down there, the Olive.
How appropriate it would be in Tooting.
Yeah. They've got one in Tooting.
Right.
It's
so
not
you popped in for a quick toot. Yeah.
It was good. It tastes nice, and it's like they filter it through the water in the tank underneath.
Groovy.
And then the tobacco burns at the top, and it goes through like a pipe, like you see in those old like Arab movies and that.
Yowza.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds groovy, and I'm thinking yowza.
Going to be banned at all because that's their old business. That people coming and smoking.
I've always wondered what they smoke in there. I guess that you have just been to Marrakesh, Chris, so you'll have more information about this than I will. But
yeah, well,
I assume that they smoke drugs in those things. But
no, not drugs in that. It's flavoured tobacco.
Flavoured tobacco.
Flavour, watermelon flavour, strawberry flavour, apple flavour.
You're kidding.
Those different flavours. It's just like a cigarette, but it's flavoured.
Right. Well, anything to dull the misery of sitting on Edgware Road, eh? But no, it'll be completely against the law to spark up in public, Mo.
Well, even on the high street?
Well, as long as it's outside, I think you'll be all right. But you'll get fined £100 if you stub your ciggy out on the ground.
£100?
Yeah, life is about to become hell for you.
Oh, my God.
So suck it up while you still can, all right?
Yeah, I think I'd just smoke in my car, innit?
Yeah, there you go.
and use the ashtray. That's a good idea. So, do you think these businesses are going to go out of business then, if they can't smoke? There must be like a side law or a bylaw for them not to, you know, for them to continue their business of smoking.
No, people will not stop going out to go to the pubs. The decimation of the entertainment and retail trades will not happen because people will still want to go out and have a drink. They'll still want to socialise because we are basically social animals, despite the fact that everybody is awful. Everyone knows that, and people will still want to go to restaurants, and people will still want to, for whatever reason, hang around the Edgware Road.
I read this funny article, again in the Sun, because I buy the Sun, I like it. There was an article about all the ashtrays that are going to have to be recycled and that. And if they can't be recycled, like millions and millions of ashtrays all around the UK from all these pubs and clubs and bars, what are they going to do with them?
That's an interesting thought. That's one that I hadn't had, and I read the Sun every day, and I must have missed that one. What are they going to do with them? Because most of them are those pressed tin. Well, I don't know what metal they are, but they, you know, I'll just say tin to fill in for whatever metal it is. But they, if you stack them all in a pile, that would be a gigantic amount of metal, which, if we just threw away, would be, you know, increasing the
carbon footprint or
destruction of the planet. Exactly right, Mo. You've got your finger on the pulse.
What's that carbon footprint about? Yeah?
It'll be a tax on everyone who's got over an 8.5 size shoe. You can look forward to that. There'll be a bill coming in the post. All right, Mo. I've got to go. Cheers, mate. Ta-da.
No problem, mate. Cheers, lot, yeah.
This is LBC.
Yep, no break here. Nick.
What?
Come back.
Huh?
We haven't got a break here.
Oh, no 55 ad.
Yeah, sorry. Was that confusing?
I pointed my finger at you and I take my headphones off. I was metaphorically lighting up a cigar.
You
in
had
here.
feet on the desk.
Yeah,
and
in the last month that I'll be able to do that. I think I'll take up smoking just you know, in order to squeeze out the last vestige of enjoyment from my miserable life.
You know those ashtrays, though.
Yeah.
They could just recycle them and put peanuts in them. Just wash them out. You know, and all these bars can still use them as, like, little food dishes.
Out of your mind. What were you smoking in Marrakesh, by the way?
Oh, didn't have time.
So that must have been fantastic. Have you been abroad?
I've been abroad, but I've never been to Morocco before.
Yeah, never. Is that the most exotique place you've been?
Yeah, one of them.
What?
I've been to Spain, been to Canada.
Neither of those places are what I would call exotic, exactly.
Well,
Canada,
yeah.
That sounds really interesting.
Boring.
Well, that's all right. I've been to Toronto, and
yeah,
that's quite interesting.
How dull was that? Toronto. It's like America without the excitement.
It was a very, very clean city.
Exactly. Like I said.
Boring.
What, you want a dirty city, do you?
Well, it's a city that seems to be lived in, yeah, you know, by people that have habits, pleasant or otherwise.
Yeah, but it's interesting still to see, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
Went up in Toronto, they do have the tallest freestanding building in the world.
What does that mean?
Well, it means you can go up it and stuff.
Well, no, they don't, though, surely.
It's the CN Tower.
That's not... Well, what does that mean?
Tallest freestanding. It doesn't have support. But that one...
Well, neither do the Petronas Towers. Aren't they the tallest building?
They're supporting each other.
No, they're not. That walkway that goes between them is not supporting them, surely.
Well, I think it might be.
Well, it isn't. I'm telling you.
Oh. But
I mean, the buildings weigh millions of tons. They can't be supported by some tiny, thin bit of metal that goes between the two of them. That's not going to stop them falling over. You haven't thought this through.
Well,
you sound like a foolish person.
That's what they say. The tallest freestanding building.
I know, but that's an odd... it seems a very specific phrase to make it such that it is the tallest, but it patently isn't. It's like Hull.
Yeah.
Don't go to Hull. If you learn nothing else from this show, then at least you'll take that away with you. But if you do actually accidentally, if your sat-nav takes you there, you're trying to get to Leeds and you go to Hull by mistake. Out in the boondocks on the far right-hand side, there's an aquarium. But it's not an aquarium. They've called it something else, and it's the world's biggest submarium. I think that's actually what they call it, a submarium. So in other words, they've done exactly the same as this tower in Canada, and they've called themselves something very specific in order to
be the biggest.
In order to make themselves appear better than they actually are. Yeah. So the whole submarium, instead of an aquarium, and I've got no idea what a submarium is. Perhaps it's an aquarium in the basement.
But I don't think the CN Tower is...
They've got no fish there, by the way. They've just got a lot of screens showing pictures of fish, but no actual fish.
And you went there because...
Because it was there, you know. I was in Leeds at the time, and people had told me how awful Hull was, and I didn't believe them. You know, the stories that they tell you in Leeds, who are very proud of their, you know, their town and their heritage, and look down on, well, who else are they going to look down on? They can't look down on York, because that's much too posh. Harrogate, they can't even afford to go into the town vicinity of Harrogate, so Hull is what the people in Leeds look down on. And I went over there to take a quick peek. Awful.
Did you put a suggestion in the suggestion box?
Well,
Get some fish.
That's right. I don't know what a submarium is, but what you need is fish. I don't care what they sound like, but you've got to get some now, dead or otherwise.
For you.
That rich tea, by the way, is still stuck to my teeth. It turns itself into concrete in your mouth. Not even tea has managed to dislodge it. I need a JCB.
So you don't want the last one, then?
No thanks, no. It comes in a funny shape, too. I previously thought they came round, but they come...
Finger-shaped.
I don't even know how you would describe that, other than, you're quite right, finger-shaped. They're little fat fingers, you know, like Lucy has.
They're called rich tea fingers. That's what they're called.
Right. So, where were we? Oh, yes. Everyone. If you've got one eye on Big Brother and one ear on the radio, seek medical help immediately. Operators are waiting for your call. But I'm interested to know what they're going to do this evening. Are they going to put one man in? And here's the worst thing that they could do. And I half suspect that they're going to do it. How very disappointing this would be. If the one man that they put in was what the newspapers have been describing all week as a gay, muscle, Mary, sex-mad screamer, or whatever you know, insert those words into a sentence that makes sense.
Of course, that's what.
If they put a gay man in the house, then it will continue to be girly. I mean, you don't really want to watch that, do you? A lot of girls jumping up and down, screaming, everything's so pink, it's great, oh, it's lovely. You don't really want that, do you? You need a bit of testosterone in there, just a smidge.
Well, they're just gonna, you know, inject that testosterone in week by week, aren't they?
I've got no idea. We'll find out. We are agog.
Isn't that what the woman from the WI is in for?
Oh, Alex. Always say the most cutting, awful things. You're a very bad man. Here's one in Catford. Oh, Trixie.
Hi, how
Hello,
do you put up
Trixie.
with those blokes there?
They are awful.
I know. They really are sent to try you, aren't they, Nick?
But at least they're happy, shiny, smiley, friendly faces.
Yes, they are. It's about time you had some friendly, shiny, happy voices, and isn't it? Yes. Well, what's going to happen now? Are you going to take more callers instead of leaving them on? Or are you going to talk about your subjects?
Huh?
I want to tell you about my day.
What do you mean? Am I gonna? Oh, you mean it's been me?
Yeah. I just thought that people might want to come on. That's all. I know you.
Sure, absolutely. If people want to come on, I'm happy to talk to them.
Yeah,
but, you know,
I think that's fine. Well,
if it's in me, it has to come out.
Yeah, I've had a pretty mixed day today. Would you like me to hear? Would you like to hear about it?
No.
Oh.
Hey, Trixie.
Yes.
How's your day been?
Oh, thank you. Well, I had to take my ex-boyfriend to the hospital. He had to have a gastroscopy.
A what now?
Absolutely. Well, it's where you put a little camera down the throat, and yeah, not very nice. And he's a huge, like 6'2" guy, and really large, and absolutely petrified. And so he always drags his ex-girlfriend, i.e. me, to go along and hold his hands, and he said, "Oh, I've got to have an anaesthetic." Unfortunately, the anaesthetic would have required him to have overnight care, and there was no way I was going to spend the night with my ex-boyfriend.
Now, is this why he's your ex-boyfriend? Because he is,
My ex-boyfriend.
yeah, like, so very...
Well, I have ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends.
Yes.
I have a
There's a
collection.
trail of broken hearts behind you.
No, not really. You know, they're useful, you know. So, he was finally persuaded not to have it, and my job was done. I felt, thank God, I thought to myself, now I'm free, I don't have to spend hours making sure he's all right, and then, you know, let his upstairs neighbour then take care of him. Oh.
It's very reasonable of you, Trixie. You're like, you're like an angel.
I am. And then my ex-boyfriend helps a little bit by, you know, sort of doing repairs around the flat.
Right. See, that's what I thought. You pick your husband, your future ex-husbands and ex-boyfriends by their trades.
Yeah,
You've got a plumber and an electrician. All you need now is a painter and decorator.
Yes. But my brother's popping over tomorrow. Not my ex-brother, my brother. He's coming over to pick up my computer.
Right.
And
throw it out the window, as
No.
we've all wanted to do at one point
he
or
works
another.
with computers. He's going to try and get the screen fixed.
Oh, yeah, well, good luck with that.
Oh, thank you very much. I miss it. So
Well, yeah, well, if, as I was saying the other day, 20 years ago, no one used computers, really.
No, they didn't.
Now, we cannot do without them. If we have our computers, if our computers break down, we feel as though we're disconnected from the world.
Yes, and particularly, you know, I've been recovering from a really long illness. I nearly died too, you know.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Yes, it's good when you can talk to someone who's actually been and had a near-death experience. Total system shutdown in my case, you know, and anyway, so I'm recovering from that. I'm physically not very sort of fit.
But mentally sharp, though, Trixie.
Mentally sharp? Well, some may say mentally sharp, but some others may say a bit in the head. But never mind, yes, I do my best. Yeah, I use the computer to, you know, it's my sort of view to the outside world at the moment. And of course, I drive a car as well, which is useful.
What, in your condition?
In my condition, I can drive a car, yes.
Yeah, legally, but safely?
Legally and certainly safely.
Right,
yes.
okay,
And
glad to hear it.
It's an automatic as well, which
Well, I would never buy anything else. All that gear changing, especially in town. I mean, your boy racers say... I bet you're a boy racer, Chris. He's like, oh, well, you can't have an automatic, because what about you haven't got any control? You'll say something daft
rubbish.
like
You've
that.
got gears, and you've got gears in
But this is what boys say. They say, oh, well, you've got no control.
Yeah,
you know.
it's a phallic sort of aspect, is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
you know, we need to move the gear stick, you know, and that's crazy.
I
I mean,
think
there is
hit the nail on the head there, Trix.
Sorry?
Hit the nail on the head there.
I've hit the nail. Yeah, I mean, if for example you're on ice and snow, you go down into a lower gear. It's going up a hill. If it's a steep hill, you go down into a lower gear. It's marvellous. There's no problems. I've got gears
Coming out your ears,
two
yeah.
in one. So, and it really does free up. You know,
A hand.
Your hand.
Yeah, which you can use for smoking, fidgeting,
No,
scratching,
I
all of the
don't
things that we enjoy in
smoke.
our
I
cars,
gave
yeah.
up over 6 months ago.
Poking and wiping, you know, all that sort of thing.
Yes, but I mean, it's useful for like switching the radio off, for example.
Yeah, or if you've got it stuck on a station that's irritating, or pulling it out of the dashboard and throwing it out the window.
No,
Sometimes it's so annoying I want to drive into a tree just to make it stop.
No, but so long as I'm driving around the London area, I can just about tolerate heart. But
What you mean to say is it's absolutely your favourite radio station apart from LBC,
Well,
and you can't get enough of it. I think that's what you meant to say there.
I
yeah.
used to not be able to get enough of it, but this summer...
No complaints, Trixie. I've got to go. Cheers, my dear. You try and lead her up the right path, but she refuses to go. There is no end of love here for Hart, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Here is Portsmouth, where they just installed a 20... well, maybe you know something about this. Portsmouth. Steve.
Hi there, Nick.
Steve, Portsmouth is the place where they just are going to make it a 20-mile-an-hour town, isn't
Absolutely correct, yeah.
it? Have they done that already?
In all residential roads, yeah, it started today, Nick.
And how do you feel about that?
Well, I don't drive, so that's, well, I do drive, but I've given up driving in Portsmouth. I cycle now.
Right.
So if I need a car when I go up to London or whatever, I hire one. Otherwise, I use the bike.
There's a curious statistic I saw today. Portsmouth is apparently the second most densely populated area in the country after London.
It's absolutely mad, and there's only the motorway in and out, so it's it's pretty bad. You just got the M275.
I went to Portsmouth and it was much nicer than I expected it to be. Mind you, I didn't really go around the rest of Portsmouth. I went to where that development is by the water.
Gunwharf. Gunwharf, Spinnaker Tower.
Yeah, that's right, the Spinnaker Tower.
Yeah, that's all right there. Yeah.
I thought that whole area was really quite nice.
Yeah. Well, I have nights out there. Yeah, just round the corner from there.
And it's literally an hour away by car from London. So there you go. There's an excellent day out, and they've got a factory outlet shopping centre there, so you can buy your unfashionable clothes much cheaper than you would ordinarily be able to buy them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, it's hour from South London, but from the centre, probably more like hour and a half.
10 hours. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it depends. Yeah, there was an accident today, and they.
Oh, never mind about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Steve, you had something else.
Yeah, the Petronas Towers.
The Petronas Towers.
Yeah,
in Malaysia.
Useless facts, but interesting.
Go on.
They got the two towers built by separate companies and put them against each other with bonuses to speed up the building of them.
Is that right?
Yeah, so...
You've been watching the Discovery Channel.
I don't know whether... I think I read it. I don't have the Discovery Channel, but I read it or saw it somewhere.
And they look so very similar.
Yeah, they got them to be... Yeah, but that's absolutely true. They got two separate companies, and that's how it was built so quickly.
Are they still the tallest building in the world? Not that I'm really, that interested, but...
I think it is. I don't actually know, but I know that the new World Trade Centre is... They're going for the...
Oh, in
New
York?
The highest building again. Yeah, there's one in New York, but I don't actually know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like the Spinnaker as well. It seems to be, I don't know quite what it's for, but it's a pleasant trip.
It's just an observation point, yeah. Right. That took ages to build. There's not a lot to say about it. It's a beautiful view. I mean, you can see the Isle of Wight.
It's our own Burj Al Arab Tower.
Yeah, it's a miniature version of that, yeah. There's a restaurant bar at the base of it, and then it's just a lift and an observation point.
Yeah.
But, it's well worth a look.
I think that Portsmouth is well worth a look. People say if you want to go down by the sea, most people in London would head straight to Brighton, which is, it's all right, but you've been there once, you've been there. Portsmouth, though, try Portsmouth. It's almost as near and just as lovely.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff. Yeah, you can. You've got the Warrior and the Victory. I'm not part of the tourist board, but.
But you're doing an excellent job anyway. All right, thanks a lot, Steve.
Okay, cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Ta-ta. There's another suggestion, another great idea. If you learn nothing else from this show, then at least you'll have gone away with that one fact. Doesn't it make you want to hop into your car, Alex, and point it and squirt it?
Yeah, if it didn't take so long to get out of London. That ruins loads of trips for me.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's going to take me an hour just to get out of London.
Where do you live in the north?
The east.
Oh, the east.
Near Tower Bridge. So
that's not so bad. It's very fashionable round there.
It is. But yeah, it pretty much takes an hour to get out anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, unless it's Essex. Does anybody want to go to Essex?
No!
No.
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks. Didn't that tower, the Portsmouth Tower, the lift broke on the first day of opening?
That sounds about right.
And people got stuck up on the opening day.
Not that we would find that amusing or anything. This is LBC, his Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Abbott.
Be polite! Let me just remind you what's happening here. I'm Nick Abbott. I'm in for Ian Lee, who's off chasing the Yankee dollar. He's gone to Lost Wages. I hope he doesn't gamble, because if so, he might not be able to afford the flight back. But he's going to be back on Monday. I normally sit on a show which goes from 10 in the evening till 1 in the morning on Saturday nights, and that's where I'll be tomorrow, and again on Sunday for Ian, and then I will be Clive Bull. I will be opening the show every night saying, I am not Clive Bull.
Oh, no!
All next week. Having already done 4 hours playing,
rock and roll!
elsewhere.
How are you going to manage?
I don't know. I've been dreading this this coming week for quite some time. I've been getting panicky about it because 4 hours and then a 3-hour show, you can hide behind music.
Yeah.
But the show that you can't hide, the 3-hour talk show, that's the second show that you do. See, it's the wrong way round. If you did the talk show first and then play the music, then you could sleep.
Well planned.
Yeah. Well, when you're poor, you can't say no to work.
Doesn't the music kind of relax you, though, for 4 hours?
It's not the kind of music that I play, no. Nothing much relaxing about Iron Maiden and Led Zeppelin. Yeah, and so I've been kind of concerned about that until I saw Eamon Holmes. I was at the gym, and Eamon Holmes was on the TV, and Eamon Holmes does the Morning Sky News programme.
I thought you were going to say you saw him on the treadmill.
God, no. I don't think he's on terms with treadmills. But no, he was on, I think it was ITV, presenting some sort of Good Morning.
He's on
Hello,
this morning.
This is ITV, right?
Yeah.
So if that giant tub of lard can squeeze in 2 shows a day, then I can too.
Yeah, he's probably getting paid thousands.
Oh well, I know. Yeah, much more than me. But then isn't everybody? No, that's right. But if he can be on television for 2 shows a day, then I can certainly be on. Mind you, each show that he does probably only lasts an hour.
Yeah.
And he'll get whisked from one to the other, while assistants will be fanning him and
massaging him.
Yeah. What a horrible job that must be. You must lose whole hands in his skin as you're trying to locate a muscle.
Oh, no, I was thinking he's lost weight.
From where? Here is Thanet. Hello, Michelle.
Hiya, you're right.
I am all right, thanks.
Good. I was just going to share with you a dream both me and my daughter had the other night. We had exactly the same dream.
Are you making this up?
No, I'm not making it up, I swear to God, because I told her my dream, and then she said, she looked at me, really shocked, and then said I had the same dream. And basically, there's a few differences in mine and hers, but in hers we were riding on the cross between an elephant and a cat kind of robot thing.
A cross between an elephant
and a cat.
And a cat?
Which has been driven by a ghost. And
a cross between an elephant and a cat that was being driven by a ghost. Yes.
Yeah. And it took us to this, prison-looking place, cross between a prison and a castle type thing. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
And then, and when we got to the place, it was full of rabbits in, prison cells.
Rabbits?
And, and there was this guy who she described, and she drew a picture of him. It was exactly the same one that I saw as well. And he was putting these rabbits into freezers, still alive, and leaving them for dead. Well, in my dream, I rescued them, and in hers, she rescued them. But I think that is really spooky that we had the same dream.
Were you watching a film where the major character was riding a donkey and a cat dragged by a ghoulie and...
Honest God, and I swear I'm not making this up, and it freaks me out. I mean, I've been looking on the internet for, definitions of dreams and things to see what it could mean, because she said, is it bad luck? I said, well, I don't know. Well, I'm hoping it's just a coincidence. Maybe she got inside my head or I got inside hers and things like that.
Yeah.
But, I just think it's really freaky that we had the same dream.
It's properly weird, yeah. And I have a degree in psychology, strangely enough.
Yeah?
And I can tell you with confidence that the both of you are undoubtedly...
crazy.
I'm crazy.
All right, thanks, Michelle.
All right,
if you find anything out about it, give us a call back. All right.
I will do.
All right, cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Bye.
Do you remember dreams?
Yeah, but they don't mean anything.
Well, that's a very controversial opinion to hold.
Well, it's not. It's just,
Dr. Freud, if it wasn't encased in wood right now, would be raising a finger of complaint.
Well, he can raise whatever, because, they don't, it's just, your body is kind of, relaxed itself, for the night.
Yeah.
And your mind's just relaxing as well, but just chucking up all these images in your head, and so,
mentally you're going...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it don't mean anything. It's just people like to add meaning to things to make them feel better.
I think that Freud was basically, nuts. Yeah. He was a perverted nutcase. But then aren't all psychiatrists?
But the thing is, why do people say, how do we know he's right? He could be wrong.
He's been, he's not very fashionable anymore, is the good doctor.
Why, who's in at the moment?
Well, you know what, I've got no idea. Last time I picked up a book about psychology, it was 1982, and I forgot everything I learnt the second I put my pen down in my last exam.
Well, that was worth it, wasn't it?
No, not really, no. But it's led me to my, on the path that has brought me here today. Isn't that sad? All that money in private education. Thanks a lot, Mum and Dad. You spent it well.
You could have bought a new car with the money you spend on your higher education.
I could have bought a house, and all that time trying to cram facts in my in my brain while my brain was going, no. What a giant waste of time that all was. But nobody goes to university really to learn things anymore, unless you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor.
Just to get away from your parents,
or a scientist. Yes, pretty much. That's exactly right. Two things. First of all, to get away from your parents. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking about, you just left school and you're thinking about which university to go to, here is the precise definition of which university you should go to. It is a mathematical equation. I'll pause so you can get pen and paper. Here it is. You must go to a university that is at least an hour away, but not more than an hour away, from your parents. This means that they can never drop in unannounced. Yeah. They can't just think, oh, I'll just nip over and take over a tin of beans, because it's an event to go there. It's a trip. It's not just popping round the corner.
I think it should be more than an hour.
If it is an hour, it also means that you cannot commute, which means that you cannot live at your parents', no matter how much they might think that it's a good idea, because they, let's face it, will always think of you, no matter how old you are, as a child, which needs their constant attention, otherwise you'll forget to eat. How many times have you gone home and they say, are you eating? Oh, you look hungry. Oh, you're so pale. And on and on and on.
I still get that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You'll get it for the rest of your life. I know, it's disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You never grow up in their eyes. So they will think, quite logically, if you're going to university, you should go to one nearby, and you can stay at home, save money, you'll be eating right, you'll be able to, you will take care of you. And if you choose a university in the town where your parents are living, there's very few arguments that you can put up, unless you're awash with cash, to negate those very excellent suggestions on their part. So you must choose a university that's at least an hour away, so it's a physical impossibility to commute.
That's a big mistake, though, going to the same university in the town where your parents live, because...
Huge.
Because also, your parents' friends live there as well.
Yeah.
And if you get into trouble or whatever, or...
they will read it in the local newspaper.
And, well, they'll see you in the street.
Yeah, unconscious in the gutter.
And they'll report back to your parents.
Precisely. So you must choose one that's an hour away, but not more than an hour away, because every couple of weeks, someone's going to have to do your laundry.
I like doing my laundry. What's wrong with that?
That's one of the most bizarre sentences I've ever heard come out of a man's mouth. I like doing my laundry.
I don't mind doing my laundry.
Well, now you're backing away from your initial position. I don't mind is not I like.
Well, it's kind of a de-stressor for me.
Oh, okay. So it's like an ironing type of thing.
Yeah, but I don't iron. That's the one thing I don't do. I don't iron.
Well, so you get de-stressed by putting your washing in a machine and pressing start.
Yeah, it's like putting all your troubles, all your dirty worries, in the washing machine, adding a bit of powder, and then it's all clean.
Yeah, like I said before. But that's not a de-stressor. I mean, it
is.
Well, it isn't, because the motion of putting your clothes in the machine is over within seconds. Ironing as a de-stressor, I can understand, because your heart rate will go down, and you will mentally flatline.
Yeah.
Such that no thought can impinge. Now suddenly it sounds like I'm talking with my head in a bucket.
That'll be Alex.
And so you can really just mentally switch off. I can understand, I mean, personally I don't iron anything, but I can understand why women do get into the ironing, because it's like meditation. It's, some people sit in a field cross-legged and go om, and other people sit in a watery tank.
But it's a bit dangerous, though, meditating with a boiling hot metal device in your hand, though, isn't it?
Well, it's one of those. It's one of those behaviours that you don't actually need to think much about. It just becomes automatic
until you burn yourself.
Yeah, which brings you right back to reality, quick, sharp. How do you relax, Alex?
Listening to this programme. LBC in general.
And I stirred him from his reverie to get him to answer that question. He's like, what? What?
The bosses aren't...
Music, I think.
The bosses aren't listening, Alex.
Oh, okay.
This is LBC. Apropos of nothing at all, 10cc was the first album I ever bought. And I stand by that as a quality choice for someone of my tender years. It was called sheet music, which is, if you say it badly, it's appropriate in a lot of cases, but it was an excellent album.
They're kind of before my time, though.
Yeah, thanks for that. Well, Mozart was before your time. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, track 7. Really good.
Okay, this is going to be embarrassing. What was the first album you ever bought? Not that it was given to you, because the albums that were given to me, that would have been the old Top of the Pops albums that had some lovely disporting herself on the cover, but were actual cover versions of hit songs at the time. This is before people were able to stick songs on a compilation, before they could actually, get the rights and so on. Now that's what I call Tripe 87. Didn't exist in them days. People used to cover songs that were in the charts to sound like them, and they stuck it on an album, called it Top of the Pops. But that I actually went out and bought 10cc sheet music.
That was the first one?
I know it is.
Oh. I don't know what the first one I was bought. I think it was a soundtrack.
This is going to be embarrassing, I know it is. Go on.
It was a soundtrack to the very first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. Because there was one good song on it that
Which was?
I can't remember now, because it was ages ago.
You bought the soundtrack to the Teenage Mutant Ninja movie.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't get much more embarrassing than that, does it, Alex?
I think it was in a sale bin, though.
Oh, yeah, any old excuse, yeah.
Well...
That it was cheap is not an excuse.
It is, because when you're a kid, you don't have much money, do you?
How about you, Alex?
It is good, though, when you're a kid and you've only got enough for one album. You have to make that choice really wisely. Because you're going to live with that for the next... month or something, you can afford to get another one.
Not kids these days, of course. They can download thousands of tracks illegally, and it doesn't cost them a penny.
Don't know they're born. I think it was either one of those Now compilations.
See, that's even worse. Yes.
But I think it was Talking Heads.
Ah.
But not their best album. Was it Little Creatures? I think it was at the time.
Well, that's not so bad.
See, at least I'm being honest, though, because there's a lot of people who would try and think of a really good album just to make themselves sound cool.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm being really honest here,
and you failed miserably in this test.
Well, I remember mine was either that or R.E.M. Out of Time.
Well, see, these are both excellent choices. How old were you when you bought these? 26.
Just the other day. Yeah. But I remember being in the record shop for about an hour and a half holding both cassettes in my hand, one in each hand, but I know that song on that one, and I like that song on that one, though.
And trying to divine, just by the pictures on the front cover, which might be the better album, yeah.
So, I don't know, I can't remember in the end why I picked Talking Heads, but...
Well, those are excellent choices.
Probably because the shop was closing and they were
and you just
trying
had
to push me out the door
at
the time.
Well, I'm quite impressed. Your Talking Heads beats my 10cc. But we both walk all over your ridiculous Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who are back, by the way.
Are they?
Yeah, I work in Leicester Square at another place, and they're all over one of the cinemas in Leicester Square. And now they call it TMTN. Teenage
TMNT.
I'm going to have to write it down. I can't keep forward. Teenage Mutant Ninja TMNT is the right answer.
See, they don't have the same appeal as they did 10 years ago or whatever it was.
Well, I suppose toys, which is basically it's an exercise in getting kids to buy toys, isn't it, these things? They can come round every 10 years because people will grow up and to children these days, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles aren't a throwback. They're brand spanking new.
Yeah. Well, then you can buy them for your kids then, because you know they're good.
It's almost like having a Christmas hit. You need never do anything else for the rest of your life, because the one song will just come around over and over and over again. It's like Slade with whatever song it is they have, and Wizard, and now George Michael, and everybody wants a Christmas hit, because there's your pension right there.
Yeah.
I mean, Slade, the checks that come in January and February, they don't stop laughing till June. And they don't have to do a thing for it. It's the hit that continues.
Keeps on giving.
Exactly right, yeah.
All right, can we come up with a Christmas hit in time for...
Oh, if only we could. There's another £1 million idea we can't have.
Yeah.
Like those hippies that put together Last FM. Do you read about that?
No.
Last FM, it's some sort of social... I don't really know what it is. I keep seeing adverts for it all over. It's like a social networking site that has got to do with music. I think it searches your computer up and down and sees what you've got on it, in it, and then makes other suggestions about what you might like to listen to, thereby providing you with your own personal radio station. That might not quite be accurate, but that's more or less it. And then you can chat to other people who also like Britney Spears, whatever the hell it is that you, are into.
I wouldn't want someone else telling me what I might like to listen to.
Well, based on the filth that's on your computer.
Yeah.
But this is what they do, and, it's people chit-chatting with each other about music. And three scrofulous types who were living in a tent on somebody's balcony while they were putting this site together have sold it and made £19 million each.
What? No.
Isn't that irritating?
Just a little bit. Oh well.
No, we won't though.
Won't we?
We were sitting here, we're racking our brains, but nothing so far.
We're always coming up with millionaire ideas on the show, aren't we?
Yeah, but after someone else has already had them. That's easy. The hard part is coming up with something before anybody else has.
But then people, won't take you seriously, will they? They'll just think, oh, nah, that's not going to work. In your head, you know it's going to work. You know the whole world wants your idea. Oh, well.
We should do the rest of the show with ideas that could earn £1 million, but haven't actually been invented yet.
All right. Have you got any?
None at all. Not one single one. I mean, things that you really would like. That would improve your life. That could earn, £1 million if only someone would take up the ball and run with it. Like those ogres on the Dragon's Den programme, by the way, who don't seem to be very good at running their own businesses.
Yeah.
But let's just gloss over that.
I tell you what I would like is an armchair. Like, if you had a big living room, an armchair which does have wheels and is motorised, and you can, change your position in the living room so you can watch your TV from a different angle and just move it around.
Isn't that just called moving in your chair?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, kind of. But you can, so you don't have to bother getting up and...
You are out of your mind.
You see, someone will nick that now. You know it. Someone will nick that now and do it.
A motorised chair so that you can watch TV from different angles?
Yeah. Or just, move around your living room. It would work.
Let's pretend that we didn't hear that, and we can come up with some that might actually, make some money, some that might be taken seriously, some that might not get laughed out of someone's office.
Well, actually...
You could use your little legs to motorise yourself around the room.
Yeah, but it's like was it the milk carton one? That was just a really simple idea. Just to make, the milk carton, they put those little caps on the top. The cardboard milk cartons.
The foil-backed cardboard cartons that made Hans and his brother £1 billion.
Yeah, that one.
Right.
They probably laughed at him at first. Well, no, people can just, open it and, suffer. But then he thought, oh, no, this will make their lives easier.
Yeah, quite right, too. And I was scoffing at your remark. I apologise.
Thank you very much.
A motorised armchair so you can watch television from different angles.
And also, yeah, if you have guests, you can, move around so you can speak to different people.
What if everyone's motorised? Could be like bumper cars.
But then it's a good fun game as well. If you've got a lot of family members.
Speaking of chairs, by the way, I'm glad you mentioned that. Firemen. This is the third in our political correctness gone mad. It's not quite political correctness, but it's that health and safety thing is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
The third in a seemingly never-ending series, but we've had 3 so far. And the first one was kids playing in the road. You can't put jumpers down for goalposts in a street because it is dangerous to the public. Not the kids playing, by the way, just the general public who aren't playing.
Yeah, because cars will come to a sudden halt as soon as they hit a jumper.
Yeah, something like that. And the next one was somebody on the website of the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds was quite correctly referring to male birds as cocks, but the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds excised that word and put 4 asterisks in instead.
But then that just makes it look ruder.
Yes, exactly right.
It doesn't... Oh.
Yeah. Like, if you unnecessarily bleeped a word in this beep sentence, it would make it sound as though I'd sworn.
Exactly.
But, of course, that would never happen.
No.
Firemen are facing disciplinary action after they were accused of sleeping on the floor instead of new reclining chairs. Unmotorised, in this case. 3 men are being investigated for involvement, this is a quote, involvement in the use of unauthorised rest facilities, i.e. the floor. A colleague called it bureaucracy gone balmy. Fire chiefs are looking into claims that they defied orders to rest on the £400 reclining chairs which were installed as replacements for beds in Greater Manchester's 41 fire stations last year. And you know what? The only time I've ever been in first class on a plane, which was when I paid for a cheap seat and I got upgraded because I was working for the company at the time.
Yeah.
And they, at that time, flat beds weren't very common, and so they were chairs that reclined a lot. And you know what? It doesn't matter how much a chair reclines, if it doesn't go flat, it's still a chair. Crucially, you're still sitting up. And you can't relax because the blood is going to your feet.
But surely a laid-back chair is better than a floor.
Well, apparently not. It is claimed that they broke regulations, these firemen, by deciding that it was more comfortable to use sleeping bags and bed down on the floor. Fireman Steve Wilcock, Steve Will, 4 asterisks, was the watch commander, and he was the one that was under investigation. Anita Wainwright, the services director of the Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service, said, risk-assessed facilities have been provided for rest only, not sleep. So, this risk-assessed facility is a chair. They've looked at the chair, they've assessed its risk to human beings, and they've decided that it is safe, being a chair. The floor, however, has not been risk-assessed. No one has looked at the floor and considered its risks. So it is illegal for them to sleep on it, in it.
I'm going to have to fill a risk assessment to make a cup of tea.
Yes,
soon.
Very dangerous. You want to put cones around the kettle. It contains boiling water. However, she says, if a firefighter were to doze off on the rest facilities provided, a common-sense approach is adopted. So, in other words, it's illegal for them to sleep, even on the chairs that have been provided for rest. But if they do actually nod off, then they won't be fired immediately. A common-sense approach is adopted, which implies that they could be fired.
Yeah.
But they, if they like them, they won't.
They wouldn't be fired, though, would they?
Fire Brigade's union leader said its members were being treated as fools, and firemen complained that they were being spied on by managers. The fire service replaced all beds in its fire stations with the reclining chairs at a cost of £130,000 of our money. Comes to find out that the firemen would prefer to sleep on the floor than rest on these chairs. That's how uncomfortable they are.
Unless they had wheels on.
The firemen were not allowed to use them until they'd... Some sentences you read and you think, this can't be true. The firemen were not allowed to use them until they had been given health and safety training on how to sit on them.
What?
These are firemen. You know the guys who rush into buildings that are on fire? They had a health and safety training course on how to sit on chairs. An internal memo issued last year gave guidelines on how to rest at fire stations. This is too silly. I'm going to have to go to the travel and come back to this, because this is just, I mean, my mouth's on the floor. This is LBC, his travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. We're looking at
London's to know 9090973. Nick Abbott.
No time for the old in and out, love. I've just come to read the meter.
So, back at the firemen. You know firemen, don't you? They're the men that look death in the face and laugh. Well, they just got a lot of chairs for them, a cost of £130,000, and typically they hadn't checked whether they're actually comfortable to sit in. The amount of chairs that I sit in that aren't comfortable.
Yeah.
You think someone has been paid a lot of money to come up with a design for this, but they haven't actually done the one thing that you would think that a designer of a chair would do, and that is sit in them.
That's true.
The amount of chairs that are available for the public to buy that are deeply, deeply uncomfortable is staggering.
Almost like modern ones, you get are like just hard wood, aren't they?
Well, hard wood can be comfortable if the angles are right.
No, it's got to be like
not happy with that.
Big comfy leather. I've had another £1 million idea.
Oh, great. Okay, I can't wait to hear this. Go ahead. Lay it on me, baby.
Okay. How about like a shower?
Yeah.
Right. That has some sort of filter in it, but it gives you coloured water. To I don't know, either go with your bathroom, or to just create
whatever disease you have.
or to create a mood.
Yeah.
Like you could have like purple water.
Right, purple rain, in fact.
Purple rain.
Well, you're not as crazy as you sound.
I'm sure some girls would prefer to have pink water, shower in pink water.
Actually, that's not completely insane, but not the water itself should be coloured, but the light, the ambient light in the shower.
Oh, no, the water.
No, I think that...
Isn't it like the water kind of goes through a filter, so it comes out like like dyed... But the dye doesn't go on your skin. It doesn't stain you.
I'm trying to drift away from crazy here, but I think you might have something there that colour therapy.
Yeah.
In a shower actually might be a very good idea, but it would have to be a glass shower backed with lights that change to whatever colour your mood is.
I'm sure that. No, I'm sure that.
You're not
exists.
happy with that?
No,
right.
I think that exists already.
Oh,
I'm talking about the actual water being a different colour.
Total nutcase.
What if it's yellow?
I knew you were going to say something awful, Alex. I mean, it was hanging in the air, and the possibility was there. We could have just, swept that under the carpet. We could have skirted around that. That's right. It was a big hazard in the middle of the road, and we could have just driven on by, but no.
Straight over those goalpost jumpers.
You wanted to plough straight into it. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a shower with, like, blue water or red water?
Absolutely.
Oh.
The fire service replaced all of the beds in its fire stations because they do really long shifts. It's something like a 15-hour shift, something like that, very long, and they're allowed 3 hours in that shift to rest, which would be best used actually sleeping, of course. I mean, they raise themselves when the bell goes and slide down a pole and yomp off to be heroes on our behalf, for which they don't get paid a lot of money. But apparently it's illegal for them to use these new chairs until they have been given health and safety training on how to sit. I mean, how much time would you have to have in your day to come up with an instruction like that? Here's a chair, don't use it until we tell you how to sit down. A health and safety initiative. An internal memo issued last year gave guidelines on how to rest at fire stations, and warned of random inspections, and threatened anyone caught out with resting outside of the letter of the law with disciplinary action. I mean, this is just incredible. The service confirmed that it had begun an internal investigation, but had yet to decide if the firemen, who you remember had forsworn these uncomfortable new chairs to sleep on the floor. This is how bad these chairs were. There's an internal investigation now, like they don't have anything else to do.
Maybe they just sat on the floor, slept on the floor though, because they thought they didn't know how to use the chairs.
Oh, you mean they haven't been given instructions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's a good thought. Yeah. A hearing is scheduled for June the 4th. Oh, great! There's going to be a hearing.
How much money is all that going to waste?
No one has any idea. I mean, it's an open-ended checkbook, I think. The investigation began after a performance review team carried out a spot check at 6:30 in the morning. So presumably these guys have been on overnight.
They should make them go out on the shout.
Yes.
So how do you like your health and safety now?
It is understood that a sleeping bag... Oh, you see, they didn't even find anybody sleeping on the floor. They just discovered the evidence. A sleeping bag was found in a locker.
Maybe it fell off a chair.
And officials believed that the men were resting on mattresses instead of the chairs. Very dangerous.
So, they're just going by that on the evidence?
Yes.
They didn't actually ask the firemen themselves?
A fireman said, we cannot use pillows on the chairs. And we cannot use our own blankets.
Are you sure this story's for real?
Apparently so, yeah. This is the Daily Telegraph, yeah.
They should line them up in front of a fire engine and turn on the hoses.
So they can't use the chairs until they've gone through a health and safety course to tell them how to sit on them. They can't use pillows on the chairs because it might be dangerous. Pillows, you know, they cause a lot of accidents in the home, yeah. And neither are they allowed to use their own blankets because they might not come up to health and safety requirements. No one's got any idea. This is insane. Kevin Brown of the Fire Brigades Union said, firefighters make life or death decisions every day. But they appear to be being treated as fools. I think we're all being treated as fools, really. It's as though they have our money, this being the last day of the year that we're working for the man, and from now on, unless you're a top-rate taxpayer, you're working for yourself. So they've got no end of money from us. 5 months we've been working. Every penny that you've been earning so far has gone straight to the government. So they've got all of our money, and it's almost literally as though they don't have any idea what to do with it. And so they come up with stuff like this. They're investigating firemen for sleeping on the floor.
Come on, we're running late!
Hello, Solomon.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
I'm all right, thanks.
Good stuff. How's that memory of yours?
I can't remember.
All right, it's cracking on. That's good news. What I was going to say to you, £1 million idea for you, Nick.
Yes, please.
An audience with.
An audience with?
With you. You'd make a killing, mate.
Yes. Yeah, they'd be falling asleep dead from boredom. Is that what you mean by killing?
No, you'd make a lot of money, mate. I think you should have considered the idea, mate. When are they going to give you a full-time job there?
I've got no idea. That's my agent on the phone, by the way. Thanks a lot, Solomon.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
An audience with. No, I think you'd have to be famous to do an audience with. So this show that Ian's doing, speaking of fame, by the way, he's gone to Las Vegas to do... Because he tells... He doesn't really let on to his audience.
Or me.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's going to do another Posh and Becks. Not another one, surely.
It's I think it's the same kind of format, but I don't think it's with a Posh and Becks.
Right, it's with somebody else. Because the front page of the... I guess it was the... must have been the Sun. Oh, no, it's the front page of the Daily Mirror. They had this story and the Sun didn't. Posh has apparently quit a £10 million US TV show in a bust-up of her watching Beck's play. She was asked by her network that she's negotiated this deal with in America that they wanted her to go and do some filming.
Right.
And she said, no, I want to go and watch my husband play football. And so, according to them, she's just walked out of a £10 million job. Does anybody believe that?
No.
Does anybody believe that America is actually remotely interested? I can't fathom that any major network in the States will give her 10 million quid to follow her around, because no one's ever heard of her.
I know, it's weird, isn't it?
Hello, Sarah.
Oh, hello.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Yes, Sarah.
Yes. Hello,
Hello,
Nick.
Sarah.
Hello, Nick.
Sarah.
Why has it been so long?
Why has what been so long?
Since I can finally speak to you now, why has it taken so long?
Because you didn't dial earlier? I don't know. What do you mean?
No, I mean in the scheme of like soulmates and you know all that. Why has it taken so long?
unfortunately, Sarah, I haven't got the faintest idea what you're talking about. Give us a clue.
The humour.
The what?
Don't seem to get it.
No, me either. I'm confused. Can you... anybody?
Not this end.
Hey, there's a new a guide for the workers at Tesco. There's a guide for the older workers at Tesco to teach them how the young people speak. Bad means good, fat means very good, and if someone is bawling, that means they're doing very well. And I hope that you've digged this fat show, Daddy-O. Did I get that right?
No! On 97.3